another episode of Downtime with Downstar, and today we are here with Ryan Hoegner of the Honda Meet. Ryan, my bro.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
I've been threatening to come out for 6 years.
I gotta take those threats wisely, bro. You're cut, man.
You got daughters, man.
Oh, you gotta fend off the dudes.
There you go.
Oh my God, bro. I've always admired your body.
Woo! Okay.
Bro, you're fucking cut, dude. That's something that is very rare.
Yeah.
You know? Especially for like as long as you've been doing it. You said that you've never stopped.
Yeah, I joined the gym at 18 and never stopped. So through Achilles tendon surgeries and knee surgeries and just kind of kept going, and at one point owned a CrossFit gym and then owned a powerlifting gym, but just never really stopped working out, minimum 3 days a week for 35 years.
Wow, dude.
Yeah and I'm not crazy about it. If if on vacation we don't work out, it's just we enjoy ourselves. But yeah, I just try to make it part of a lifestyle. It's the closest thing to the fountain of youth we're probably ever going to find.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then you combat it.
It's the road trip diet.
I love it.
Yeah.
And when you're on the road trips, you could just
Yeah. Well, the good thing
is
I've already eaten the Slim Jim, so we don't have that there anymore.
Jerky, bro. I fucking love jerky, dude. It was my birthday, and I jokingly posted up like, this is what I want for my birthday, and two people sent me packages.
Yeah.
Of like $100 worth of jerky, dude. So much fucking jerky.
Yeah, I went down the jerky rabbit hole where you're just trying to find cheap jerky, but it's impossible because ultimately it's a big piece of meat that goes down to this size. But I could eat jerky every day.
Oh man, I love jerky, but it's not the best for you either.
It's all right.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, it's better than half the stuff that they say is the best for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my wife, she'll always tag me in those Instagram like reels and shit. And says, now you can't eat this, or now you can't. I'm like, God damn.
There's nothing left.
Bro, we're to the point where we're using bamboo toilet paper, dude. I'm like,
splinters are a bitch.
Oh man, speaking of bamboo, we just got back from Kauai.
It's the best.
We went on this hike, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, in Princeville.
Yep.
Maybe like 5-minute drive from like the fountain, and I don't even know where it was or what it was, but it was like like a 2-mile there hike, and then there's like a dam. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's like a dam, and then you go and you hike right there, and you go to the dam, and it's such a nice hike, dude.
Yeah.
And they had bamboo trees. I never seen bamboo trees in
wild.
the forest, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy. It looked like some Jurassic Park shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, I think that's where part of it was filmed, right?
Yeah.
No, Hawaii's. I'm 51, but I'm going to say it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's perfect.
I love
perfect.
It, dude. It just makes you feel so different.
Yeah.
And then we just land in LAX, and it's like, man, this is chaotic.
The horns start. The homeless people are bumping into you at the airport already. Like it's a train wreck.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully Spencer Pratt can turn it up.
I hope so, man.
I
hope he wins.
I think he will.
The campaign is like another level. Like my wife, I mean, every time she's laughing on her phone, it's something he's done. The videos are epic.
It's the best, man.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like him, if you don't respect him, if you think he's from a reality show, or okay, whatever. What is he saying?
Right.
And I feel like that's the problem with everything in society right now. Get rid of everything. What are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they talking about? What are the principles?
Yeah. Well, it's like we've been doing it, this one way this entire time that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So let's try something different for a couple of years. If it doesn't work, it's not going to be any worse than where we're at right now. Like, dude, LA's a mess. Like that truck that I have out there, I bought it at Ford dealer in downtown LA. Like, dude, it's just gross. Like there's no reason to go to LA whatsoever. Like it's absolutely terrible.
So sad, bro.
It is. It is because pre-COVID, like they had that whole area around the Staples Center. Like it was actually really nice. You know, you got like 3, 4, 5 blocks out, and it was maybe a little sketch, but everything around there was pretty decent. And then COVID happened. All those restaurants were boarded up, and now it's never going to recover.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. It's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
But what do you fucking do?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You elect Spencer Pratt.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to him, bro.
I mean, you elect a bunch of non-politicians.
You know, he's actually the one that motivated me to get my car.
Oh, really?
My BMW. Because when he was on the hills,
We used to watch that show.
Remember that?
We used to watch
So
it.
he
He was the douchebag on the show too. That's the best part.
Yes, he had a 6 Series on 22s back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, that car is so sick,
Yeah.
dude. And then I think when I got my car, I posted it, and he like commented. I tagged him and he commented on it. But that's the reason that I wanted that car, man.
I wish him the best.
Yeah, dude. It's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, to turn it up a little bit, because sometimes you just think like it's never gonna change.
Yeah.
It's the same person over and over and over again in a different mask.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe they're all reptiles. You ever think of that? Like they're literally.
You know what? I believe just about anything. Everything that was a conspiracy theory the last 6 years kind of became true. So I'm on board with everything. I'm on board with not landing on the moon.
Hell yeah.
I'm on board with no such thing as dinosaurs.
Hell yes!
I'm on board all of them.
We got him, guys. We got another good one, guys. Hell yeah, dude. Oh my god. It's because you're in that generation,
Right.
A little older than you is like, that's stupid,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
And you're still just right there. And I'm in the generation that's like, no, fuck that. Nothing happened. I don't know if anything is real. I was talking to my son Christian when we went to Hawaii at night. We went for a walk, and then we get to this spot where you could see the ocean, and you could finally see the stars in the sky. And I'm like, just like, you know, the people that tell us like what we can't do or what we can do, like it's not like some holier than thou person. That dude clocks out of the FBI or whatever.
Yeah.
Goes to Taco Bell, goes home in his boxers and watches Sopranos. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they do. It's just another fucking human.
Yeah.
But then we're supposed to follow them blindly because this is what they say.
Right.
And they're in a position of power.
Yeah.
And they know better than us. No, they probably don't even know anything what it's like to be.
They just enjoyed being in school a little bit more.
For sure. And that's it. And all of the history books and everything that we were taught, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because when you look up in the sky and somebody's to say there's nothing else out there, you have to be like, well, how would you know that? There's not a way that you would even know that. Whether there is, whether there isn't, whether we're in a simulation, whether I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been on this wave for a long time.
The simulation thing's too deep for me. I just, at that point, my head explodes, and I turn the Sopranos back on.
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather be like that FBI agent,
Right.
just eating some Taco Bell. Man, dude, speaking of COVID, that was about the last time that we had you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Did you say September?
So, yeah, it would have been September of 19, and we would have been in Ohio for the Hoegner Meet.
Great trips, bro.
Yeah, no, the trips were
Oh, my God.
epic.
Dude.
That was the house that I didn't pay attention and only had one bathroom, and there was like 5 of us. That was a good one. It was the one that was on that little farm, and then we had the other house that was basically haunted. That was a good one.
I don't know if I went to that one, the haunted one.
Pretty sure. That was the one where like RC and Mike were there, and every time we would come back, something else was like moved or something at the house, and then the lady had all these weird like masks on the wall.
Yes. Okay. I do remember that. Man, I value those memories.
Those trips were
so much.
Yeah,
bro.
those trips were so good. Like
So
the
good,
early
bro.
Floridas when we had 10, 12 people come over to the house. Didn't know half of them, but you know everybody was cool. The initial Ohio ones, the Jersey trip was super good.
Man, dude. I remember that was in Florida. That was where we met Jeff.
Yeah.
race car.
Right,
Rest
right,
in
right.
peace, man.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, that was his first time going to the Honda meet,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talked him to go to the Cali one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he had never even left
Right.
Florida at all.
Yeah.
And that
And a bunch of those guys, the Florida guys, have come out over the years, which is super cool. And a lot of them have driven out to Ohio too.
Oh, really?
And then some of the Ohio guys have driven to Florida, and then like RC and Mike and those guys went from Arizona to Florida,
Yeah.
Arizona to Ohio. Like it's wild.
Yeah, that pocket in Florida, they have a lot of nice Honda builds out there.
Yeah, they've got like Florida, like that. The first year we did Florida, like the cars were amazing. And I mean, people were saying like, I've never even seen this car. Like there was a full,
really,
there was like a full Mugen, like championship white Type R. There was like one of those parts catalog cars. It was just perfect. The guy was the original owner. But yeah, there were a bunch of cars. Like we would judge Florida. Like it was always hard because they were so good. But then we didn't want to make it look like we were picking our friends either. But like CJ's car, his CRX is it's one of my favorite cars of all time. And then Nick Bailiff always has some sort of a banger. Like he has some sort of a new rad car like every 6 months. And then just a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. Speaking of Florida, like I'm going to sign the contract for Florida on probably tomorrow or the next day. So we'll be back in Florida in Tampa.
Okay.
I think it's September 19th. And so, we'll have information out in about a week.
Damn. Bro.
So yeah, we're going back to Florida.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. And so previously we've always done Orlando. This time we're kind of moving down to Tampa, which is kind of like CJ's area.
Okay, got you.
So that would be cool. Yeah.
So, is there anything else on the calendar for this year?
Yeah, so we have September 27th, and that's going to be Ohio, and that's the same location as it always is.
So 2 in September.
Yeah, back-to-back
Got
weekends.
you. Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's going to be
okay.
it's going to be a lot. So I'll do Florida, fly back, and then go back and do Ohio, and then I'm talking with the guys at Cobb about maybe doing something like in the Austin area in the fall somewhere.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it'll be fun too. We've never done anything in Texas. We've always wanted to. We just haven't got around to it. The issue prior is, we got on this run where we were doing California, New York, or Jersey, Ohio, Florida, but I couldn't really expand beyond that because I was still working at Eibach and it was the Eibach Meet, but I was doing everything on my vacation time. So this was never, in my job description there, it was just something they allowed me to do on the side. But that being said, like I couldn't just travel around the country doing these car shows, on their dime. So everything was, kind of used on vacation time, but then I had to set aside enough for my family, so I really couldn't expand any more than we already did. But now that I, work for Hyperco and I'm at home, I mean, we can do shit. I could do 50 of these a year. I wouldn't want to, but we could. So yeah, it's we're looking to do, some expanding again.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I want to get into the future of the meet and talk about SoCal, but when we had you on the podcast in 2019, I don't feel that podcasting was at the level where it is now.
Yeah.
Where people, listen to it
right
daily. People listen to podcasts all the time. And when I first started doing podcasting.
Yeah, 3-hour drive this morning. I mean, I was on PBD and then did a little Rogan, but yeah, I listen to podcasts more than music now.
Yeah, same, dude. But I want to touch on some things that we probably touched on in the past. Mm-hmm. But I want to get to the foundation of the Honda Meet, previously Eibach Meet, and previously what was it then? So paint me the story of how you started to even get into Hondas, and then we'll go from there.
So, man, I remember the time and the day, not the day, but I remember the time. But it was my buddy Tom and I, who I'm still good friends with. He still helps at all the meets. We were playing volleyball in Tustin, and I was always into cars. Like I loved Mustangs and just about everything. But always a car guy. I'd always read Motor Trend, and back then they always had like the 0 to 60 times for all the cars. And looked at all that stuff, and we were always super into it. Like we used to literally play a game like in high school, me and my buddy Chris, and he would say, "What's the 0 to 60 time of a Mercury XR4 Ti?"
No way.
7.8 seconds. We tried to guess them, but we were super into it, right? And so we were sitting there playing volleyball. And Tom's Vietnamese, so some of the dudes that were coming over were Vietnamese. Guy pulls up in like a lowered black CRX, Next guy pulls up in like a lowered black EF, and then there was something else, and I was like, "Ooh, man, I really like those. Like those look really good." And then where I lived in Tustin, at the top of my neighborhood, where I'd normally pull out, there was a guy there who had like a lowered black EF too, and so I just kept seeing them, and I was like, "Man, I would like to get something like that possibly." And then something happened, and I got like the Jeep bug. But this was before I was driving at this point. So I started off, I had a Ford Escort GT. That was my first car. My dad bought it for me, and that was fun. And I tried to race everything. I kept seeing these Hondas. I liked them. I kept seeing I just got it up in my head that I needed a Jeep.
Gotcha.
And so my dad went to the Jeep dealership with me, and I forget what the payment was going to be, but it was like $400 a month, and I was making $6 an hour, and I was like, no, I got it. I can swing it. And he's like, dude, this is too expensive. Like, you need to find something cheaper. And it was like, like a loaded Sahara edition, and luckily he said no. And then, I'm like, well, I do like the Civics. And so I ended up in a red EG, like a brand new, like a 94 SI.
Okay.
And it was like 13 grand, way more affordable. But it's like, if I would have got that Jeep, you and I probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even be doing this because the Civic kind of led into, my wife's cousin kind of, seeing me in this lowered Civic, and he was basically saying like, hey, I know a guy who's going to, open up a shop in Santa Monica. Would you want to do something with him? I'm like, yeah, I was, at like 19 or 20. Yeah. Do I want to work at the shop? Sure. And so it didn't actually end up being a shop. They met this lady, I think her name was Barbara Beach, and she was the founder of the Miata Club of North America, and they had like 30,000 members, and they did club events all over the country. And so this guy decided he wanted to do like a Honda and Acura club. So if you look at the amount of Miatas sold versus Hondas and Acuras, I mean, there were millions of Hondas and Acuras on the road. So if you looked at the numbers and you were like, God, if we could get 10% of these people to join this club, like it would be fantastic. And so he started it. They hired me. So I was going back and forth to Marina Del Rey, and we did the Honda Acura Club. And so as that, we started to do club events. And so we would do them at a shop in Torrance. I think it's still there, called Shine Street. My buddy Will worked there. And so all of the early events, maybe the first 2 or 3, were at Shine Street. And but we had guys like Doug at Honda going to those, like a lot of the OGs, like the picture I showed you earlier from Rodrez. He was there, obviously. And so a lot of the really, really old dudes, like probably even Big Mike, were at some of those early meets.
So you started this Honda Acura Club. So what was that?
So it was supposed to be kind of like AAA for Honda members. Like it was $35 a year. You got a membership. We signed up dealers across the country. You'd get 10% on services. You got 10% off at like McGuire's for stuff. But we got all these kind of like incentives for joining. And then on top of it, we produced a magazine, and the magazine was on newsstands. Honda distributed a little bit for us. It was in some of the dealerships. And so it was a pretty cool deal.
And what year was this?
This was like late 2000. I'm sorry, late 90s.
Wow.
Yeah, late 90s, even might have trickled into the early 2000s. Like, I'm terrible with dates, but that was kind of it. And then we started doing some events at Norm Reeves Honda.
Got you.
They were kind of one of our dealers, and like Oscar Jackson came out and did like a tech talk. Doug at Honda did a tech talk when, Honda was like brand new. And then I got to the point where I was probably in my mid or late 20s. I'd had a kid now, and people are asking me what I did for a living. I'm like, well, I work for a car club. It was just kind of a weird deal. I made good money. Like I said, my offices were in Marina Del Rey, right in the water. Our next door neighbor was Al Davis, who owned the Raiders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
we were in this place called the Marina City Club, and it was all celebs. Like Lamar Odom was in there.
Interesting.
Queen Latifah was in there. Remember China from the WWF? She was in there. Like, you'd see him at the little liquor store all the time, like in this little thing. But yeah, it was.
Rest in peace, China.
Yeah, no, it was a trip. And so during that time, we had access. We were a magazine, and we had access to press cars. And so I became friendly with the Eibach R&D manager, a guy named Dave Royce. And whenever they would need, like, the new Civic would come out, he would call me and say, hey, could you get one of these? And I go, yeah, I'll get one for you. And we get it over to him, and he'd take a look at it, and they'd figure out what they were going to do for a lowering kit for it. And then after a couple of years of him and I being friends, he said, hey, there's a sales job here. It's for private label sales. Like, I think you'd be a good guy for that. You should interview. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And so ended up at Eibach, And then, within, like a week of getting there, I'm like, wow, this would be a cool place for an event, And so I talked to our existing marketing guys, as the new guys, hey, I've been throwing these events at these shops over here, and we've got this huge parking lot. Like, we should do something here, And so then we had an event, and then the next, over 6 months, we did maybe an NWP meet there, and then it just kind of became the Honda meet. And I realistically, I can't even tell you what year it happened. Like, I don't know if it was 05 or 06. We always kind of say it's those days or those years, but not 1,000% sure. So but it's within a year of my employment there, basically.
When do you feel like that there was an official, like?
I would say when we, we started. It was just called the Eibach Meet because we were just meeting in Eibach. Yeah. It's kind of like the NWP thing. Like, NWP became, the NWP Meet because we were literally just meeting at NWP, Yeah. And so I think it probably became the Eibach Meet when we got 200 or 300 cars and it was just completely free. It was like, hey, we're meeting at Eibach on this date. And then, within a year or two of that is when we had to start charging people, so we kind of came up with like the VIP area, which we might have been like the first one to do, like in terms of what we do and the import stuff these days, everybody's got, oh, it's a VIP. I think we were the first ones to do that. And so that was like $15.
Yeah. And
then we did the regular area, and that was just to limit people, limit the amount of people that would show up.
Got it.
Because it was just a shit show, because when it was free, we were having people get there at like 3 a.m. and park at the very front gate. So they would be the first ones in. And so that was our way to kind of like to regulate the whole thing. And so we did it at Eibach for probably, it must have been 7 or 8 or 9 years, I think. And you remember those old days. Like, it was wild. Like, it was a handful.
Yeah. I definitely want to get into that. But, so you said that some of the earlier meets were at that. Was it Shine?
It was Shine Street.
Shine Street.
Yeah, Shine Street. And so they were they're in Torrance, across from the mall. So if you watch Fast and the Furious 2, the 2 Eclipses were built by Shine Street. They have like their logos on them, and so those were kind of movie cars. But they exported like lowriders and stuff to Japan, but then they had a tuner shop there, and they did a little bit of everything. Like I said, my buddy Will worked there, and so it was just spot where we could basically have a free venue, and it was just big enough for what we did.
So this is about the transition time of Fast and Furious days to like JDM style, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
Would you say that?
Yeah. So if you look at that picture I showed you earlier, that was very kind of, JDM inspired that car, like front lip, lowered, 15-inch wheels, swap, gutted, light.
So was that a conscious thing that like people of your age were doing, that they weren't trying to follow the Fast and the Furious style, like there was time for something new?
I don't know if anything we ever did was the Fast and the Furious style, because by the time they were doing the Fast and the Furious, we were beyond that. Okay. So I would say that we were in the Fast and the Furious style like in the late 90s. So I was, I had the Integra with the Wings West, like aggressor kit on it, with a giant wing in the back and the weird goofy bumper. So we were doing all that stuff like in the late 90s with all of the stuff that we would call like ricey nowadays.
Got you.
So by the time the Fast and the Furious came out, we were already on to, let's not do the big bumper, let's just do a black lip. Like, let's not do the rear wing, we should be in like a spoon wing or something like OEM Plus or something like that. So the Fast and Furious stuff was probably like, years behind what was actually going on, because that was kind of like what was perceived to be cool, but it wasn't cool.
So speaking of cool, who was cool at that time? Because I've heard the stories about the racers and all that, but it never seemed like the racers were really part of like the clean cars. It seemed like their motivation was just to go faster.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Like, the cool guys were the guys at the shops.
Okay.
Like, because they would like you used to go into Speed Image, and Ron Bergenholtz would be behind the counter, and his Integra, when it was still black, was out front, like full chrome engine bay.
The DA.
Yeah, the big turbo kit. Like, that was a rad car. And then even some of the drag cars, like all the old Honda Pro cars, like Viet Lam and Steph and all those guys, those were rad looking cars. I mean, they were really good. And then what's his name? Tony Fuchs cars were always good. Like, you would go to like an import show off, and the drag cars would be there, and they looked really good.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, but in terms of like the cooler, clean cars, like the some of like the FF guys, their cars were awesome. They were kind of a way ahead of what everybody else was doing, but there were just some better, just lowered stuff that still kind of had kits on it, but they weren't, quite as wild. But I would fall back to the racers ultimately being, still the cool guys because they had great looking cars and they were in tens.
Got you. And still to this day.
Yeah, for sure.
Bergenholt is still.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's still around.
Kicking ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those guys were always cool back in the day. Like I said, you'd go to a shop and they were behind the counter. You go to like Honda Pro and it was like Viet Lam was working on your car or Steph or they were building your motor. So they were, very accessible because they weren't, celebrities or anything like that. They were just dudes with fast cars and you'd see them there. You'd see them at the street races at night,
So were these guys like a little older than you? Were you same generation, or what was like the relationship to them?
I think they would probably be the same age as me, but maybe just got into it a little more hardcore faster than I did.
For sure.
Where I was more of an enthusiast, but still had like a regular gig, wasn't really working in the industry yet, and was still going to a shop to get stuff installed. So I think they were probably similar age as me, but just a couple years like further in the game, I guess you could say.
Got you. And were the magazines around at that time, like Honda Tuning?
So Turbo was big. Sport Compact Car was big. Super Street was kind of like the Ricey magazine to start, but then when JDM Wong and all those guys kind of got involved, like they kind of turned that boat around and made it cool again. And then there was like Import Tuner, and then like the OG was TMR.
Okay.
Like TMR was awesome. They had the little pocket magazines. Yes. So I always credit Rodney with kind of being the first one to recognize like this skate in the car thing was going to be kind of like one thing down the road. I think there's a cover of one of his magazines, and I always butcher this, but I think it's like a white DC2 with big front mount like drag turbo intercooler. And it was a skater, and he was kind of doing a kickflip over the hood of it. We were talking about it at the meet. I think his name was Kane Gale or something like that. But but Rodney Wills was like way ahead of the game on that stuff. Like recognized that eventually that stuff would kind of, collide.
Yeah. Is he still around doing anything?
Yeah, he's doing something. He's back east, like in somewhere. But I know he's into like Land Cruisers and stuff. And I think he does some KTM bike stuff. But yeah, he's still around.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I do follow him on social.
Yeah, he was a super cool guy.
I feel like he's one of the pieces of the puzzle that I still haven't figured out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he would be the name come up.
Yeah, no, he would be a good guy to get. And so literally the first time I ever was in like a booth, it was at the Import Auto Expo in Pomona, and they had a booth. And so originally this guy I was telling you about, who was starting this Honda Acura club, was kind of doing something with Rodney first, where maybe he was going to invest in the magazine or Rodney was going to do the magazine for the club. And it didn't kind of jive because Rodney was such a creative and this dude was like a corporate lawyer. And it was like, they just didn't mesh. But so I went and I sat at their booth and kind of helped them out that weekend at Import Auto Salon. But I'll never forget it. They had a white DC2 in their booth, and across the way was Stillen, and they had a GS400, and they were kind of facing each other on the other end of the aisles. And the GS400 had just come out. Like when they came out, they were rad. And Stillen had one with a body kit on it. Like they were such good looking cars, and they were expensive back then. Well, this white DC2 had like an electric start on his alarm, and he left it in first gear, and somebody sat on his keys, and it started the car and shot across the aisle, and it rammed the Stillen car. Like it was like, I've told the story like 1,000 times, but it was like one of the most insane things I've ever seen in a show, because it just happened in slow motion. Like as soon as a person sat down, you heard the car start to fire. You looked at their face. Their eyes got big because they knew what they did, and all of a sudden the car fired and then shot across, bam, rammed the car. Luckily the show hadn't started, but they had to pull the car out of the show, try to get it fixed. But yeah, it was like literally one of those deals where I think that Stillen car was done like the night before or something like that. So I don't know how many people could tell that story. The guy who owns this car, he definitely can tell the story. I know he's still around. I won't say his name. I never found out who owned this. And I don't know if any of the guys at Stillen still were around during that time, but yeah, it was awesome. But it was at that TMR magazine booth, and that was the first time they did anything outside of SEMA for like imports. So it was Import Auto Expo, and it was specifically for imports. And then I think they did it one more year there, and then I think they did it in Jersey like for another year, and then kind of shut it down.
Yeah.
But they were great events.
Man, dude.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I used to install the remote starts.
Right.
And then they would say like,
dude,
that
it
you
was
can't do it on
wild.
a manual car.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
I've had it on before,
Yeah.
and then you could,
Yeah.
like it would just
Yeah, it's
jerk.
just enough for it to jump and roll, on carpet. And, anything moving, even if it's a mile an hour, if it hits like a fiberglass body kit, like it's done. So both the cars got fucked up.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
man. Oh, that's crazy. So, okay. So then you start working at Eibach.
Yep.
And you say maybe within the first year?
We did something within the first year. Like, it was pretty quick because we'd already built some momentum. And, I came over and was like, hey, I'm already doing these Honda events. And, like, let's have something here. And I'm sure it's going to help us sell Honda stuff, so let's just do it. And so we did it. And then I think we did it the next year. And then within 2 or 3 years, it started to get crazy. And that's when it was kind of like growing by 50% or something like that every year, and then was getting a little crazier. Like, I don't know if you remember it, but in the early ones we gave out pizza. Like, I would call like the local Little Caesars and order 500 large pizzas.
500?
Yeah, dude, we get 500 large pizzas, and they wouldn't even take a credit card. They were like, oh no, we know you guys do this every year about this time, like just come be here tomorrow at 11. So we'd go down and we'd get 2 trips to get 500 pizzas in like a Jeep. We'd fold all the seats down and then we would feed people. Like, it was,
oh my God.
Yeah, it was nuts.
My first time was 2008. I want to get to that. We'll get to 2008.
Okay.
So, you say we. So who's we at this time?
So it's me and Rodriguez.
Okay.
So Rodriguez, worked for the magazines that whole time, and so he's always been my partner in the California events. And
so how did you and Rodriguez link up?
Probably a message for him or something.
Okay.
Like, we were probably both on HondaAcura.net or Honda Tech or something, or we went to I couldn't even tell you. I don't know if he knows, honestly, but it had to have been at some sort of a meet or something like that.
He's actually one I need to get on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He's mysterious.
He's very mysterious.
He just look. Oh shit! What's up, Frank? Like,
Yeah.
Oh shit! What's up, bro?
No, and he's got,
gone.
he's was with magazines all those years, so he'd be a good guy to get on. But yeah, I can't. Honestly, I can't remember how we even hooked up. Like, it would have been, 20 years ago or something. But, ultimately we started doing it together.
What a great guy, man.
Yeah, no, he's super. And it's just, he's like the yin to my yang. Like, I do this stuff really well. He does the day of stuff really well. And it's always kind of worked out. And we've just been on, a handshake deal this whole time, and, just been partners.
That's real men shit right there.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
I love it. So was he helping out with the events at Shine Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
even
it was
since back then.
way back. Yeah.
Okay, got you. And was this a thing like that you and Rogers got together and like, hey, let's do this? Or
Yeah, it was just kind of, I think at the time he was doing some of the magazine stuff. So, hey, we're having a meet. You guys want to come out and cover it? Do you want to come hang out too? And then everybody, we were all much younger then and getting together like a lot more. Like, ultimately, like, I see twice a year now.
Yeah.
Like the OG guys that, when we were in our early 20s or mid 20s, we saw each other like every other weekend. There's constantly stuff going on, you know?
So let's paint this picture. 'Cause I hope a lot of people from my generation will listen to this, because this is going to be like a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
But I've never had this conversation with you in depth where I can actually, it all makes sense. So I remember you from the forums, Rogers from the forums, and the forums was like, that was like the place to be.
That was it. Like,
from when I got into it.
Everything was on the forums. Like, even for the event, we would post, hey, Eibach Meet is this day, number 1, VTech Voodoo. Then the next guy would cut and paste, number 2, Rodriguez. Third guy, 3, Downstar. And then that list would get to, 300 screen names or something like that.
That's crazy.
And those were the people that were, those were the people that were going to go to the meet.
So name off some people that come to the top of your head that were part of like the earlier meets.
So Big Mike.
Okay.
Obviously Joey's been around forever. Rodriguez has been around forever. Honestly, you're one of those guys now too. Like, you've been around forever. There was Jeremy Gilman. He was, one of our San Diego guys. He was around, was always helping. There were all the M7 guys who we were talking with. Then, so like the couple of like Catman, some of the FF guys would come to like some of the earlier stuff, specifically at NWP. I've always looked at some of these guys as more of like the second or third generation, like your Tony Jacksons and your Jared Reyes, only because they're like 5 years younger than me. But I think nowadays, like, we kind of like bleed into one. But Tony and Jared Reyes, they were at a ton of the early, NWP stuff as well.
Gotcha.
Andy Kimball, who runs all the, VW events. But yeah,
Gotcha.
mostly kind of like that. It's kind of like a Orange County, Irvine kind of
Yeah.
like crew. And that's just specific to our area. If you get into like your Simi Valleys and stuff, it's just, it's Jeremy Lafosky, just a different group of guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy, I saw him at the Honda meet. He's still killing it.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to him, bro.
Yep.
Another one I got to get on here.
Yeah.
So this gets to around where I think I started to enter, and I want to see where it all starts to make sense. So I moved to Nevada in 2005, maybe 2004, 2005, around there. That's when I started to work at Best Buy. And when I started to work at Best Buy, that's when I worked with Raul Ramirez.
Right.
Checkered Sports.
Who's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Raul. I love Raul, dude. And he would be on the computer. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just on the forums. He was on NWP.
Yeah.
So he's the one that introduced me to NWP. And he was buying stuff, selling stuff, whatever, posting things. And then he would have right-hand drive cars.
Yeah.
In the install bay, he'd be doing installs. And and that was my introduction into Hondas. Before then, I didn't care anything about Hondas. I was a muscle
car guy, right? Yeah.
So
right.
my Chevelle 69.
Yeah. Well, like I was
Chevelle.
saying, like we were into Mustangs. Like we were into, like, my dream was to have like a Saline Mustang,
Yeah. So I wasn't even into Hondas, and then I got into it. So then fast forward in 2007, I ended up moving back, and I think it had to be 2008 was the 2008 was the first Eibach Meet that I ever attended, and that was as
Were you indoors?
No, that was
You were
as a
out-
spectator.
Oh, okay.
I was a
because I remember
spectator.
kind of where your booths were. Like
Yeah.
I remember you being indoors once. I remember you being up in that top left-hand corner by the gate. Probably once or twice.
So I was a spectator then,
Okay.
and I didn't even have a car. Like I had a Honda, but it was nothing to even speak about.
Yeah.
And then 2009 was the first time that I ever showed, and that was with my right-hand drive. So I got it in January. The event was probably May. It would have been in May
It would have been
2009.
right.
I was parked in where the loading docks are, like right in the back corner area. And I remember I had in the morning I got a cereal box, and I cut it open and flipped it inside out, and I wrote Downstar Ink, $1, and then I put a piece of hardware on it, and I put it on top of my valve cover. And I remember I sold maybe like $60 or something that day.
60 transactions. It's good.
Yeah, from my people knowing that I was selling hardware or what have you.
Yeah.
From the forums. So that's what like the forums meant to me. It was like my introduction into this community that I had no idea who anybody or what this even was. I just knew that it was cool and I liked it.
Yeah, the forums were awesome. Like I'm still on Honda Tech.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm literally still on
No
Honda Tech. I
shit.
swear to God, I'm on there every day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm on there every day.
Man, dude.
I'm not in any of like the specific forums. There's just like a general discussion and debate, and it's just bullshit, politics and sports and whatever. But it's like I log on there literally every single day and it's been probably. So my user date, which is like your sign up date, I think is 2001. So 25 years. Yeah, 25 years. And then I think I had actually a screen name that I was using prior because I was a moderator on HondaAcura.net.
Okay.
And so the Honda Tech guys broke off and they started Honda Tech, and I'm like, well, I didn't want to look like a trader.
For sure.
So I had a different screen name on there. So I honestly think it's like 2000 or something like that, like September of like 2000. So literally creeping up on 26 years on a Honda message board.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes I like to go back and just search
Yeah.
things, and you get to see old posts.
Yeah.
and
Well,
stuff.
what's wild too is like I met a ton of people on those forums. Like if you look at my wedding pictures, so if you looked at my groomsmen, it's half guys I went to school with and half car guys that I probably met on the forum.
way.
I swear to God.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. We went to New York, I don't know, in like 2018, 2019, and I have a buddy there named Marty. He's a big Honda guy. He was on Honda Tech. I've known him for 20 years at that point. I'd never met him.
No way.
But I've known him for 20 years.
Yeah.
We have mutual friends, and we always chatted. He's a detective in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, dude, we're going to be in town for a wedding. You know, are you around? And he's like, yeah, I'm off Saturday night. And we were staying in Harlem, and I had my wife with me. And he goes, hey, so I'll swoop you up at like 8. We're going to go get Korean barbecue, and then we're just going to drive you around the city. And so I'm explaining this to my wife, and she's like, so who's picking him up? Like, it's my friend Marty. And she's like, have I ever met him? And I'm like, no, I've never actually met him. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we've been talking online for 20 years. And she's just like, she couldn't really wrap her head around it. And I'm like, look, we're safe. He's a detective. Like, he's a cop. We're good. But I'd never met him. I didn't even know what he looked like.
No,
because you weren't posting pictures. Like, your avatar was your car or whatever, And so he picks us up. He takes us to Korean barbecue. And then he's a detective in Manhattan, so he kind of had a placard that he could put on his dashboard, so he could park anywhere.
Gotcha.
So he took us to the financial district, parked up on the curb. We got out, looked at everything, took us to some of like the 9/11 stuff, parked anywhere. Just drove us all over the city.
Wow.
And again, this is just a dude that I met on a Honda forum. So we flash forward to like 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. We're watching like Homicide in New York, the TV show on Netflix, and he's on it.
No way.
And that's like, that's the guy who drove us around, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's him.
No.
Yeah, so he's retired now. But yeah, that's what it was. So it's like you met all these dudes online. Eventually you might meet them at a meet, but if they were across the country, I mean, you talk to them almost every day, but you literally had never met them.
Yeah.
And then eventually there would be a time that you'd meet and you didn't know whether you introduced yourself as your screen name or your real name. Like, it was kind of an awkward deal, but it's like, yeah, I mean, there's dudes on these forums that like I've interacted with for 25 years.
That's crazy,
half of my life,
bro.
Half of my life. Crazy.
Just because you didn't get the Jeep.
Just I didn't get the Jeep.
Who knows what you might be a lifeguard right now.
Dude, I could be anything. I could be anything because So I didn't get the Jeep. I got the Civic. I lowered it, roll cage, nitrous, and so I kept going to all these, family events with my wife, and so it was her cousin who kept seeing the car. And then he said, hey, I know this guy in LA. He wants to do this shop or club. And that's how I ended up down that path, was not buying the Jeep.
Yeah.
Right. It's crazy.
Those small little insignificant interactions.
Yeah, no.
Like, I always think about that too. Like, what if I just didn't work at Best Buy and I didn't meet Raul?
No, wife and I were talking about it like a month ago. What if we didn't move to this side of the town? Would I be involved in basketball and all this stuff I'm doing? Would I be doing this? Would my son have this group of friends, whose parents we've all become really close with and vacation with? Like, it's wild.
It's super deep, bro.
Yeah.
Especially like us meeting here. Like, you've given me so much opportunity to grow. 2009, that was the first time. Didn't know you didn't know anybody. From 2009 to 2010, I thought, okay, well, this is picking up. Maybe I can have a booth. And that was the first booth I ever did.
That's crazy.
Was at the Eibach Meet 2010.
And it's funny because I bet you there's probably quite a few people that could say that, like the first booth I ever did, and then now they're like a Rywire or somebody else.
Yeah. It's crazy because like at the time you just don't think anything of it.
Right.
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even think it would turn into anything at all. I just thought it would just be something where I'm just selling CDs.
Right.
I'm just selling both.
Side hustle. You get to have a booth. Part of the crew.
Yeah. And then, man, it was those days were so amazing.
Yeah.
Just getting there and getting to see screen names to faces.
Yeah.
Get to see people's cars in person.
Yeah.
And back then, more likely than not, the cars over exceeded your expectations.
Yeah, and you didn't see them as often. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys who post their car on Instagram like every day. You're just like, I've seen this car a million times. There, the guy maybe had like a build thread.
Yeah.
And you kind of saw it in stages, and then you finally got to see it. But he might not update that thread for like 3 months if the car show's coming or the Eibach Meet's coming, right? Because he's like, oh, I'm going to debut it here, right? And so you were like, oh, dude, you got the TEs. Like you didn't have the TEs like 3 months ago. But yeah, it was like the first time you really got to see him in person, and then you got to see the person. You were like, oh man, I thought you were like a 6'4" white guy. You're like a 5'3" Asian guy, like, you know, because you didn't actually never saw what they looked like.
Yeah, everyone's just short Mexicans. Oh man, yeah. And then the next year it was when it was raining, so it was inside.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool. I like that. How was that like? Was that like a last minute thing where it just opened it up? Because that kind of, it felt like it was pretty nice to be inside.
No, it was honestly. So that was prior to that year. That part of our building was being leased, and it was by Callaway Corvettes. And they moved out, and so we had that empty space, and we were like, oh man, it would be cool to put the vendors in there, you know. And so we just, because that space was open, we threw the vendors in there, and it was just something different. And then by the next year, I think we might have done it the next year, we might not have, I can't remember, but by the next year, if we didn't do it, that means that we would have, Eibach either expanded into that part of the building or we subleased it again.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was just because it was available. It ended up raining for a little bit that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. But yeah, it wasn't because of the rain. It was just because it was available.
Gotcha.
And then ultimately that led to being able to park, you know, more VIP cars in like that front area.
So from 2011 to 2012 was when it exited the Eibach facility.
Yeah, it got to the point where it got so big that the city started making us pull permits, which is fine. And the cops got involved, and so the last couple of years, I think I had to go to every business within a 2 or 3 block radius and just tell them we were going to have the event. Get them to sign something saying cars could be in their parking lot, or at least acknowledge it, because, you know, people were parking like a mile away and walking in. And so that got to be kind of a pain in the ass. But ultimately, like, our neighbors were all really cool with it. We had a couple neighbors that opened up their parking lot, and they just charged $10 for parking.
Oh, okay.
Which I was great with, because then there was one of them specifically that would take the money, give it to their church, go down to Mexico, and they would use it to build houses. And so I'm like, dude, that's a great story, right? And so
wow,
it got to the point again where then the cops, Corona, just didn't want to give us the permits anymore. And I was trying to say, hey, look, these guys do this. Like, this is very positive for the community. This is probably the biggest event of any kind in Corona. Like, everybody shows up early. Wow. There's nothing bigger in Corona. Like, you know, they get there early. They go to the gas stations. They go to McDonald's. They go to Carl's Jr. They go to the car washes. Afterwards, they hit the same spot. So it actually generated probably a decent amount of revenue for Corona, because there's really no events in Corona to speak of, right, at that time specifically. But yeah, ultimately they wouldn't give us permits, and so we started kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do. And then the guy I mentioned earlier, Andy Kimball, like, so his family's big in like the air-cooled VW world. His dad's been throwing shows since like the 60s, and now Andy's taken over that business, and he runs it kind of with his father, but it's his full-time gig. They were doing Irwindale. And so that was kind of like the natural progression, like, okay, cool, well, we're going to go to Irwindale, and it's this much money to rent it. And we're like, all right, well, I mean, hopefully it will work. And we were charging $5 to get in. We didn't know if anybody would pay it, because it was always free. It was free to get in up until then. We didn't know what to charge. You know, we didn't want to do ticketing or anything like that. So we're like, all right, we'll make it $5 and we'll make it 10 to park. And then that year was a freaking zoo. Like, it was a zoo. Everybody just showed up, and we weren't prepared. Like, people from Irwindale were helping us, like, with parking, like helping take money. Like, we probably lost $3,000-$4,000 just letting people in, just to keep the line moving, you know. But we didn't expect, like, we didn't know people are going to pay to show up, and it went absolutely crazy. And then by noon they'd shut us down. Cars were backed up out of the track onto the 605 freeway, and so they completely shut us down. There was a girl who passed out, hit her head on a curb. Like, dude, it was like, yeah, I left.
Oh my God.
I left that night, and I was like, oh fuck, man, like, I'm in trouble. You know, like, I didn't know what to think, because I thought everybody was going to be pissed because they couldn't get in. And I knew the girl was okay. I'd ended up talking to her later, and she was fine. But yeah, I was just worried about, like, kind of like the backlash. And I think ultimately the people not getting in, it just created more demand for kind of the next year, you know, because now it's like, oh my God, you got to really get there early now, you know.
So was that the year that you feel like things changed, or like it
That
started to blow up?
at that point, I knew we could get any venue we wanted, and we would be absolutely fine. Like if that many people are going to show up, like we'll be fine doing it anywhere. And again, this isn't my full time job, so we didn't need to make money off this thing. Like it just
Yeah.
needed, ultimately, just needed to pay for itself. But I knew at that, like we had to have like dedicated staff. Like I mean, I think we tried to do that with like 5 guys or something like that. You know what I mean? Like when the cars started showing up, I was there early in the morning and I was like setting up like bicycle fence to act as like a barrier,
Yeah.
for so people would funnel this way and actually pay $5 to get in. But it's like I think I gave up on it at some point. We were just telling people to go that way, but if they didn't, we just let them walk in. But yeah, at that point we realized it's a thing. Like we've got to have a dedicated staff. Like we need to have parking guys. We need to have people taking money. There needs to be an entire list of things that your job assignments, I guess you could
Gotcha.
say, right? But yeah, it was wild. But after that, we knew we could do anything. So we knew immediately that Irwindale would never work for us because we sold it out like that first year, like in 3 hours or something like that. Like we overflowed the parking. And then as the years went on, Irwindale kept getting smaller and smaller. They kept kind of selling. Every year Irwindale closes and then reopens. And
Yeah.
so we knew that wasn't going to work. And then somebody was doing stuff at Storm Stadium.
Okay.
And so
Like automotive stuff?
car stuff, yeah, there
Okay.
was something going on. That parking lot's big. They were setting up SCCA stuff in there or something. So somebody said, "Well, go over there and check that place out," and checked it out. And then that became our home for probably like the next 5 years or so.
No, I love it, bro. So at this time, 2012 was Irwindale. So prior to 2012, there wasn't really any social media as it is right now. I mean, everybody had their, Facebook or what have you, but Facebook didn't seem like a place to market, right?
No, it was still heavy forum stuff back then, and you would get. You'd wake up the next morning and somebody would have like a thread, Eibach Meet pics, and it would just be, page after page after page of people posting pictures. And then probably within like a year or two of that, Facebook kind of started to happen. Like it never even really got to MySpace, I don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
we had MySpace, but I don't think any of the car stuff ever actually ended up there. But yeah, it jumped to Facebook pretty much after that.
Yeah. So, what do you think really helped make it popular? Was it just it being from the forums and that community right there? Was it magazines? Was it
I think
people?
I think it's a little bit of everything, honestly, because we got tons of coverage of magazines. Because obviously Rodriguez was doing the magazine stuff, but they would all show up. I mean, it was such a big event; it was in their backyard that they kind of had to cover it. But then all the social media stuff, started hitting, and then you still had the forum stuff, and so we were kind of like getting the social media, the forum stuff, and the magazine stuff, and then eventually YouTube kind of got popular too, and that kind of got there. And then that actually ended up helping the expansion to like Orlando and all those places because these guys had seen it in the magazines
Yeah.
or on the forums for like years at that
Yeah.
point. And they were like, dude, the cars that come to this thing are crazy. Like we have to be there. And so the expansion was like a no-brainer.
Yeah. So before it left the Eibach facility, what are some memories that stand out from those meets and times?
So I would say, obviously the picking up like the 500 pizzas, like that was always, it was just funny. Like, I mean, to make that call on a Friday and say, hey, Sunday at 11, I'm going to need 500 pizzas. That was crazy. Obviously I think what everybody remembers is the dude with no hood who got rolled right at the cul-de-sac, and
Yeah.
hundreds of people standing there watching this dude get his car towed. Just the traffic. Like I would usually at about 10 or so, I would walk out to the cul-de-sac, and I would spend about the next 2 hours just out there directing traffic, and that was just kind of a shit show. But just keeping all of that together, and walking up and down the street, keeping people from double parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and then ultimately my favorite thing was just getting to work the next morning. So it was always on a Sunday, right? Getting to work the next morning and everybody just saying, dude, we saw the pictures, like it was crazy. And then spending the first hour jumping on the forums and such, and just to see all the feedback and stuff.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I remember seeing people come from across the country.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember like the PGK guys, Jay and Bond and all them drove from Atlanta and Tennessee.
Yeah. We used to get tons of out of state guys. We still do that Road Warrior Award for the guy who drove the furthest, but back in the day, I think there was one guy, I think he won. He drove from Tampa. Dude, like
Mm.
it doesn't get much further than Tampa. Like I forget how many miles it was, but he ended up driving the car out, and then he had it like trailered back because he went on to like visit his brother in Canada or something like that. But yeah,
Got
there
it.
was big group from Arizona, Nevada that always come. A huge group from Washington would always come. Always some Portland, but you always got Texas. Like you get some New York every once in a while. But yeah, it was crazy. And then you get the dudes who flew in from like Japan and stuff. Like it was nuts, man.
Mm.
Like it was really nuts.
Was all that soaking in? Like, man, all these people are coming to this thing that I created, or
It
that
was
you.
cool. Yeah, it was neat. It's just looking back, it's very special. But as it was happening, I don't think I really paid it a ton of attention. Like I was obviously we were, very excited about it. Like, it was cool. But now it's probably reflecting on it. It's much more special than it was at the time.
Yeah, yeah. What a good time, bro.
It was great, man. Like we've had like to sit here 23 years later, and I'm still doing it. It's crazy. I never thought it would have come this far. If you walk up to our t-shirt booth at, the event now, it's like my son is running the booth, which
Yeah.
is cool. He's 17 years old. My niece was working the booth. Her boyfriend works the booth, whose dad I worked with like 20 years ago. And then a couple kid I coached in basketball was working the booth. So it's neat to see that
Yeah.
evolution. And now that's kind of like we've got to 20 years. It's really like 22 or 23 because of COVID. But now it's kind of like, all right, well, like we just had a banger of a year. Like how long can we do this for? But with the Civic Type R's coming out now, like all of a sudden the Honda cars are all really good again, right? And
Yeah.
so we could get another 15, 20, 25 years out of, I don't know. Like I always look at the Kimballs who've done these, Volkswagen shows forever. Like they've done them since the 60s,
Yeah.
and they're still going on. So I mean, why couldn't we do that?
Yeah, that's that's an interesting conversation to
Mm-hmm.
have. It kind of parallels like rap music. They would say that like rap is a fad.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere at
No,
all.
no.
And like I think of it too, like, man, how long can I do this stuff?
Right.
But then I look at like a Jegs or
Mm-hmm.
a Summit
Yeah.
or or a National Parts Depot, which is right around the block, and
Mm-hmm.
they're still in business,
Yeah.
still reproducing parts for a '69 Chevelle,
Right.
a tail light,
Right.
like a dome light.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be something that it goes and then it just ends and nobody nobody does Hondas
Right.
anymore all of a sudden?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds weird to say, but like for you and I or guys my age, like the DC or like the EG Civic is like our 57 Chevy. Like it's just what it is to us now. It's a 30-year-old car that we loved in our teens and our 20s. So it's really no different than like the 70 or 80-year-old now and like the 57 Chevy or, mid 60s Chevelle or Camaro or something like that. They're just made in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the way that I think of it. I guess it'll end if we want it to
Yeah.
end. But if there's just enough people out there that are still,
Yeah.
motivated to keep it going, like I don't see why
Yeah.
it would end.
Well, and there's millions of them on the road still. I mean, there's millions of them, and we're getting the parents that are bringing the kids now who are now driving to the event. You know what I mean? So it's just, and it doesn't need to be 1,000 cars. It could be 300 cars, and it could still be fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be this giant meet with all these vendors or anything. It could just go back to 100 guys meeting at Northwood Pizza.
Yeah.
But now we're 70 years old.
Yeah, right. I bet you've seen a lot of kids grow up from going to the meets, right?
Yeah, man, a lot.
I remember, man, I forget the kid's name, but there's this guy, Jesse. I don't know if you know him, a Hispanic guy, and he would bring cars, really, really nice cars. I think he had like a yellow CRX, like a spoon style CRX, and then he would bring his kids out.
Yeah.
So I think the kid's name is Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. I remember this kid as a child coming up
Yeah.
asking for like stickers.
Right.
And he would always come. And then a few years ago, I seen him at the Honda meet. And it's just like, damn, this is a little man
Yeah.
now, bro.
Yeah.
So crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
there's probably, I don't know how many, but I kind of try to keep in touch with them, but there's a bunch of dudes that are bringing their sons, and they're both bringing cars now. Like there's a lot,
Yeah.
like a lot, like in there. The sons' cars are good.
Yeah.
Like forget there's two from Arizona. I can never remember their names, but the son's got like an 88 or an 89 Prelude, like a red Prelude that's just like ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, is that your new car? And he's like, no, it's my son's car. And I'm like, whoa, you know, and he, how old is he? He's like 17. And then, you know, sure enough, whips out his phone. Here's him at the meet at 4 years old, you know, like, it's like, wow. It's super cool. And that's what I've always wanted to get to that. And again, I keep referencing the Kimballs and the VW stuff, but that's where I've always wanted this to get to, where it's like, you know, a guy and his wife and their two kids are coming, and then eventually their kids are driving to it. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's awesome.
Well, for Honda specifically, it's not like there's that many people throwing events. It's not like there's that many people that are coming out with new and innovative parts, and it's not a lot of people.
Right.
So, I mean, if everybody just still decided like to keep feeding the machine, I think it'll just keep growing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of, in the Honda community, it's kind of like the cream has risen to the top. Like all the guys who were kind of half in and half out have went away, and so you've got just nothing but a bunch of really good retailers like left. So if you look at like our vendor list at the meet, like there's 51 vendors I think this year, and they're all bangers.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, I'm like, it's not a bunch of beef jerky guys, even though we love beef
Yeah.
jerky, but it's not that. It's Greddy, it's Rywire, it's Willwood, it's Cobb, it's Honda,
Falcon.
it's Hossport, it's Falcon title sponsor. Like it's got to be the best vendor row at any event in the country for imports. Like it's better than SEMA.
Yeah.
Like, because nobody goes to SEMA anymore. But literally, like that vendor list, Spoon, like it's all the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Such a good time, bro.
Yeah.
So since you started doing the Honda meet, you've seen the Hondas transition from, you know, the body kits to JDM clean style to, man, when it went crazy when everybody started doing
like the stance stuff was like horrific.
Yeah.
The stance. No, like I don't, like I look back at some of the stuff I did to my cars back in like the mid 90s, and I did some ridiculous stuff, you know what I mean? So I never make fun of anybody for what they're doing to their car. If they're stoked on their car, then I'm stoked for them. Like I really don't care, but the stance stuff was just brutal. Like
really?
Nobody ever won with the stance car at anything we did. Because ultimately, you know, it's like our guys are going to be the judges, right? And it's like we just didn't like the stuff, but we would never tell them no. But you know, we just didn't like it. But yeah, the stance kind of stencil tire realm was just absolutely horrific.
So what about like phase 2, like even like that style too?
Well, he was kind of like one of the first ones to do it,
Mikey.
And so it was so different. Then it was kind of like, oh wow, like that looks good. But then you look at the quality of the car, and it was wild. Like everything else was great, and then it just had this big negative camber thing going on. So you could kind of live with that because it was kind of like his thing, you know. And then a couple other guys did it and did it well, and then everybody just started to do it, and everybody did it like horribly beyond that.
So let me ask you this, because this is something I've always just, maybe I have like a false memory or what, but do you remember seeing anybody like, I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's done something first, but I feel like somebody that does something first with a following, with a popular, somebody that makes something popular.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that made like that stance stuff more popular than like phase 2 Mikey before then?
No way.
I can't think of it, right?
I can't think of anything.
Especially in Hondas.
No, maybe in Japan itself, you know, but back then, like, it wasn't like, we didn't really have Instagram. You didn't see all this stuff in Japan, like, unless you were really reading the magazines and stuff like that. Like or at least I didn't, you know, maybe other guys did, but yeah, I never saw anything beyond that. Cause it was the red EG, and then it was Mikey's car, the DC2, the DC that ended up in Japan. Like, and those guys did a really good job. And again, 90% of it is it looked good and they pulled it off because the rest of the car was done to the
Yeah.
nines. Like it wasn't just like a beat or whatever with wheels like this. It was just they were done cars.
For sure.
They were really good.
Yeah. So you're talking about, because I remember that my first car show that I ever went to was Nisei 2009.
Yeah.
And that car, both of those cars were there. Phase 2, Hey Mikey.
Yeah.
His DC2, the red one with the gold engine bay with the turbo. And then Spanky, Arnell's
Right.
EG.
Red EG.
Red EG.
Yeah.
And that was before it had, what did they call the Volkswagen with the different colors? Harlequin?
Harlequin or something
Something like that, right? So he did that, but this was before
Okay.
then. So he had the red engine bay and
Yeah.
like the chrome. Their thing was like the dipped parts.
Right,
the
right.
chrome. And man, like seeing some stuff like that in person, that was mind blowing,
Yeah.
bro, at that time.
Yeah.
But then it just really seemed like that created a monster
Yeah.
that went into, a hella flush,
Right.
and like into that genre that now has turned into like Challengers and Chargers and
Right.
some BMWs like stance
Yeah.
like that, which is
Well,
pretty
it
crazy
went-
to see.
And it went from this to then the bolted on fenders and all that stuff as well, which made it even worse,
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of, yeah, it went crazy. And those guys, I mean, I got to give them props because it takes balls to kind of do something that different.
Yeah.
And again, like they pulled it off and then just, everybody kind of followed, and
Yeah.
it was just like, but everybody else did a really shitty job of it, and ultimately just destroyed a bunch of pretty good cars by, dragging the whole chassis on the ground or like bolting on over fenders or chopping up their fenders to put on bad fenders. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same in the Porsche community. Like, I mean, there's been a bunch of air-cooled Porsches ruined because, people decided they wanted to chop them up to look like the RWB cars.
So, yeah, you're a big Porsche guy, right?
Yep.
Porsche or Porsche? Which one?
Porsche.
Porsche.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the RWB style?
Here's my take on the RWB. My favorite memory in Japan was when we went to the RWB meet because there was something special about being there in Japan, going to their meet and just walking around and seeing the cars.
Yeah.
But I don't like the cars at all. I think they're terrible. And again, I'm not going to hate on anybody. I mean, when they first came out, like I think it was Mark Arsenal was kind of like the first one.
Okay.
But I think he had like a 4-liter turbo motor. So it was like a proper like big motor car, and it just had this other stuff done to it, which I could live with. But when you see it done to like the older air-cooled stuff, like the early 80s air-cooled stuff that are putting on these giant like 18 by 10 wheels and this and that, and the car's got like 205 horsepower, like it's just kind of ridiculous. Like if you're going to do it, do the whole thing. Don't
Gotcha.
just bolt on this like kit, like I don't like them at all. I think you're kind of ruining these cars that are worth a ton of money, and those cars, they just don't really need that. Like they're good. Like I have a 964. Like it needs nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's the perfect driver. And the fact that people, I mean, mine's got 17s on it, right? And anything beyond 17s on that would just be way too big. Like it would just take like the soul out of it, right? And they're doing 19 by 10 or this or that.
Yeah.
And so I don't like it, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell somebody what to do with their cars.
Yeah. For sure. Bro, I've never got bit by the Porsche bug at all.
Yeah.
How did it happen for you?
I don't know. I started looking at them. Like I just wanted to do something new. Like I'd got to the point where I've done every Honda except for like an NSX. Like there was just really nothing left to do. I hadn't done like a Toyota truck, but I just wanted something. I think what I was chasing was something that was maybe like a little bit more adult. Like I was getting into like my earlier mid 30s and maybe didn't want to be in like a lowered EG anymore. I wanted something with like a little bit more status. And then, so back then when I was looking, like a decent, like early 80s air-cooled 911 was like 10, 11, 12 grand. Like a 964 was like 18 grand. They were kind of like the ugly ducklings. Nobody really wanted them. And then the 930s, which are the turbos, were like 30 grand. Now they've all quadrupled for the most part. But the one I ended up buying was just like a black Targa that had kind of like the Miami Vice Fend turbo look on it, with the fender vents and stuff. It wasn't a slant nose though, but it was, I got it in the desert for like $5,600 or something like that. and kept it for like a couple years, and then eventually sold it and then moved on to another one. But yeah, I don't remember. Honestly, it would probably be some of that early like Mark Arsenal stuff.
Okay.
Like I dug his car, and again, it was if his was a narrow body but still had the big motor and it was caged. It was everything I liked in a car: gutted, caged, big motor, and it just happened to have the fender flares on it. So I think that was probably like a pretty decent inspiration for me looking back on it.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark Arsenal, bro.
Yeah,
he,
man.
He took Fat Lace.
Dude, yeah, no, super
to
nice.
the
like,
next level.
Super nice guy too.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
Man, that was a special time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, the 2000, probably 2010 to 2000, 2010 10 to 15, somewhere around there, like that 5 years. It was such a change in the automotive culture.
Yeah.
And I think it took it to the next level.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing
a lot of change, a lot of innovation.
Yeah. Seen brands that you just looked at them as just, oh, it's a car brand, and wow, they're kind of expanding into different things now.
Or you started to see like the lifestyle brands kind of cross with the car brands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which has opened so many doors now. And now I see like car influence everywhere.
Well, you go into like a Tilly's or something like that, and you see like the vintage NASCAR shirts now, or you see like a bunch of Formula One stuff. Like it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I just seen Ludacris just came out with a new music video, and it was like at some like drift event.
Oh, really?
Wow, that's crazy. And like T-Pain,
yeah,
huge into the drift community. That dude says he makes $50K an hour streaming.
Wow.
Like playing video games.
Damn.
So he doesn't even go like perform or anything.
Yeah.
Because if they say like, well, we'll give you $200K.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Right.
I'd rather just chill here. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Money don't mean shit nowadays, dude.
I can't even wrap my head around that. I think I was just watching something the other day on YouTube, and I think Rampage Jackson's doing that now too. Like he just has like a camera crew that follows him around, and he just does stuff.
Yeah, Rampage is killing it, bro.
Apparently, people watch it. It's like those early YouTube videos of like the 5-year-olds just unboxing toys, and they had like 13 million subscribers, and it's just I'm unboxing the new Lego set, and it was the weirdest thing. Yeah, well, what are those kids doing now? Like,
therapy?
Where do you go from there?
Their parents robbed them.
Right.
Oh man, I'm sure it's
that's
the
like
same life as a child star.
No, I was gonna say that's like the new Corey Haim or Corey Feldman.
For sure,
is those kids.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
How many of them turned out to be okay?
Right.
I can't think of many of them.
Yeah.
Hillary Duff, maybe.
Yeah.
That might be like the
right.
If they're still around in the spotlight, man, they're kind of fucked up.
Dude.
Like Ariana Grande.
I was watching the Zac Efron wrestling movie the other night, and I called my wife. Look at Zac Efron. You know what I mean?
Who is this thing?
Oh my god, crazy.
Man, he's a good-looking dude.
He was a good-looking dude.
I don't know, bro. He should have just aged.
Something.
Man, just age, bro. Yeah. It's all good. I used to think when I was younger, bro. I used to think about getting older as like something that I didn't want to do. But now I'm like, man, this is such a gift to be able to grow older. Because so many people don't.
Yeah.
So many people don't get to grow older or they get taken away too early, and you think like, man, it's such a blessing to be able to get older.
Well, you just want to experience all these chapters in life. Like you got, 0 to 10. It's the first chapter, then 10 to 20, then 30 to 40, right? You just have all these chapters. And like the first 7 are really good. Anything beyond like the 7th chapter, 70 to 80, I don't know about that one. That one might suck, but it's all right.
Well, I mean, if you keep up on your health like you are, bro,
trying, man,
I think you'll be good. How old do you feel? Do you feel old?
I don't feel very old. I feel like maybe like early 40s and stuff like that. I need to get more active. Like I need to get back to doing like more cardio and stuff like that. I just don't run as much as I used to. Gotcha. So just little things like that. Just work on staying kind of like athletic. I'm involved in basketball a lot, so I'm in and out of like the basketball gym constantly. So that's fun to be around the kids, but I definitely need to run and stuff a little bit more.
So have you ever got into running, or is just little here and there?
No. So at one point in time, so between 2007 and probably 2014, we had a CrossFit gym that I owned with a buddy. It's still going. CrossFit 714. We sold it to one of our members. But then I would run quite a bit because whenever there was a running workout that came up, I was terrible at it. So I was so competitive that I would run to try to improve so I wouldn't lose
Gotcha.
in a CrossFit workout. And then whether that's 400s or 800s or 1,000-meter sprints or something like that. And so I would run probably a couple times a week. But then in the CrossFit workouts, depending on what it was, it could be a 5K, it could have 3 or 4 800s, or it could have a couple 200s or multiple 400s, and so you're kind of forced to run a little bit more.
Gotcha.
But since I kind of quit doing that, I just don't run as much as what I used to.
Gotcha.
I don't think I could ever be a runner. Like, I can't really zone out. I'm kind of a counter, so I'm counting every step, and I'm just miserable. Like, miserable.
Do you have any knee problems?
No.
Oh, okay, that's
Nope.
good.
No, I just don't like it.
Yeah, for sure. I got into running heavy, dude. My wife and I, and it's
And so she ran half a marathon pregnant, or full marathon.
The LA full marathon.
Shoot. 6 months?
I think it was maybe about 4.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but she ended up messing up her knee, and like the last 6 miles was just fucking dragging it, and for about 2 weeks, bro, she was on crutches, like it kicked her ass, dude. And that really didn't have much to do with the pregnancy. It was just it just ended up happening.
Well, it's just you get older, you get injured, and just running is just, it's a lot of pounding on the body.
Yeah,
it just
for
is.
sure.
It's unavoidable.
Yeah, but I love it so much, bro. Like, it just helps me clear my mind, and kind of quiet everything, sort everything out. Because like as soon as I get up, bro, it's like the world knows. Yeah, like,
and so that's me. But the problem is I can't shut it off while I'm running, for sure, because I'm just like I said, I'm counting steps or something. But I struggle with it. Tanner at Eibach does like the 50 and the 100 milers.
Oh wow!
So he's like he's an ultra dude. Like, he's pretty good at it. Like, and that stuff's just crazy.
That's another level. When you can tap into that shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, I think his wife is doing it with him as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Ash is ready to pop this baby out so she can start running again, man. But
how did you get the running bug?
Well, I used to run in high school. Okay. But you're talking freshman year. I never fit in with the Mexicans. Even I still feel like that to this day. I never fit in because I never spoke like what is it called? There's a certain term that Mexicans use against other Mexicans.
Oh, I got
you.
Yeah.
And that's what I was. So I am. I've always felt like I just never had a home base. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I always felt good with cars, because I could just do my own thing. Yeah. And I don't have to rely on anybody else. Right. Skateboarding, I could just do my own thing. But I used to run in high school, and that's funny. Everybody was Mexican. Everybody ran. It was like a track meet would be like 3 miles. So at that time, 3 miles, that's like a lot. Yeah. So that's the most that I had ever ran. And then in 24, my wife and we did 75 hard.
Yeah, that's
so we did 75 hard, and we started mixing in running into it. And then she had some friends that were running, and they invited her to do a 10K. And I did the 10K, and I think that was the first time that I ever did more than 3 miles. And it was pretty cool. It was for Lululemon. It was in LA. I don't know if you know, in downtown, kind of by downtown LA, there's like a art district area where it has like, it's like an enclosed kind of thing, and you park in a structure, and then you like walk inside, and there's a bunch of shops. Okay. I forget what it's called, but there's like streetwear shops and stuff, but it was started right there. It was so cool, bro. We ran to like the new bridge, and then all around. And then he did a 5K. I was, oh my God, that's crazy. And then, you want to do a 10K? I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just started to go, let's do a half, And then 25, I did the LA.
Oh, you did the marathon?
Yeah, I did the LA marathon. Damn. Yeah. I don't even talk about it now because my wife did it pregnant, so it don't even mean shit. It don't mean shit at all. Yeah. But like, yeah, I just been doing like a bunch of halves and stuff like that. And I think the that it really resonates with me is because I just get to focus on that
Right.
and that only.
Right.
You know, even when I'm home, I'm playing with my daughter, or
Right.
you know, cleaning up around the house or doing whatever. And that's the gift and the curse of, you know, I don't know what you would call somebody like myself, somebody that can't turn off.
Successful.
You know? Whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
whatever.
matter.
Yeah.
Motivated, successful.
Motivated,
Yeah.
successful.
No, all positive adjectives.
That's it. And that's one thing that I've been focusing on is focusing on the positive of everything.
Yeah.
How was your day? It was great.
Right.
I had a great day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not selling insurance.
Yeah.
Things are great.
It's fine. It was a great day. Amazing. Stupendous. You know, that's, I feel that the language that you use is a way to program how your day
Yeah.
or how you're going to feel.
Yeah. No, if you're on this side of the dirt, you really shouldn't have any bad days.
For sure. You know, and if we've had those, I know you've had that recently, and I've had my mom pass away recently.
Right.
And it really just brings it all into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, man, you got to start appreciating every day that you have.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like I'm at the way I look at it, like I'm on the back end of my life. Like even if I'm going to live to 100, I'm on the back end of my life. So it's like time's very important right now. And so we try to, you know, consciously vacation a little bit more. Like we're not saying, oh, we got to have this money around when we're 95. We fucking don't. We're going to go places now and we're going to spend it, right? We're going to have fun. You know what I mean? Like I said, like my wife's not quite in the back end of her life, but I am, but she's, you know, she's tied to me. So we're trying to do a little bit more and spend a little bit more and, you know, just make sure we experience what we can.
Yeah.
Because it goes fast. Like I can tell you, like 51 years is like...
Yeah.
Like that. And it's like right now it's like it's almost June already, you know, and it's going to be September like in another week.
For sure.
It's just everything's just in fast forward right now. And so it's like you got to slow down a little bit and have a little fun and, you know, do you.
Trying to, bro. I'm trying so much because I was just in that hustle culture. And just in it.
Right.
Know, and now I have to make sure, consciously make the decision to like step out of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to upset some people.
Yeah.
Some things aren't going to get done as fast as other people would want it to get done, but like I can't worry about that.
Yeah.
Right now. I need to worry about if these memories I'm making with my family, you know, are valuable memories instead of me just being on my phone.
Right.
And so I got to send this, I got to make sure this gets like
no, you want to be you want to be present. I mean, that was kind of like the beauty of working at Eibach all those years is it was only like 3 miles from my house and it was like 2 miles from my kids' school. So it's like I can honestly say that I probably hit 90% of the assemblies, or if they were getting any sort of, I didn't miss anything. And they were, you know, it was just like, hey, I'm going to be, if it was like an 8 a.m. assembly, like, hey, I'm going to be there at 8:30. I'm just going to burn my lunch break now, you know, but I didn't miss hardly anything. And then still had time to coach softball with my daughter for I don't know how many seasons she played, 7 or 8 seasons, and then with Trent I coached baseball for 10 seasons, and then we went into basketball, and then that was like a whole nother thing. You know, that was like if you looked at the amount of time that I spent with Trent just through sports, it's like half of his lifetime probably. You know what I mean? Like
beautiful.
Like way probably a lot more than what my wife has spent with him, you know,
Yeah.
not because she doesn't want to, but just because we were constantly doing basketball stuff together, you know. So it's like looking back like that now that he's 17, it's like, man, I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad I was available. Where if I wouldn't have been doing what I was doing and I was commuting into Orange County for 20 more grand, you know, but was on the road 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, and I missed all that, like, would that have been worth an extra 20 grand a year? You know, never, never.
Sure. Yeah. No, I look at some of the things that I missed out on with my son when he was younger. And it's just like, man, I can't do that anymore. But I mean, that time was necessary to get to where I'm at now. Right. And he's still young enough that we can still have those kind of, it's not like I hate you, Dad. You were never there.
Right. But he was, you know, he was around, you were talking to him, you know, I mean, you were a younger father and you were building a business, but you weren't absent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You definitely weren't absent.
For sure. And he was there too.
Yeah.
He was at the meets.
No,
and
he was around. Like, so it's like it's cool that he was at all those things, and he can look back and go, I remember that too.
I tell him that because
Yeah.
now there's so many car influencers and stuff, and I'm like, bro, you're pretty much grandfathered in because you've been around this your whole life, and you've actually gone to shows and been part of like the vendors and seen it all working. Like, none of these guys know that, dude.
Right.
They only got into cars. Everybody, when COVID came, they just got into this. By that time, you were already 10 years deep into this, traveling the country, going to shows, you know. But it's his journey. We'll see where he wants to take it. So let's get back into the Eibach meet at this time. So you get to Irwindale, that explodes.
So yeah, it blew up, and like I said, it was a lot, and that was a big learning year because again, we didn't know, but it was disappointing, as a promoter or
Gotcha.
whatever I call myself. Like, I was like, man, we got to do better. But like, again, ultimately, I can look back and I can say, hey, we didn't know because this thing was 1,000% free up until this point. Like, Irwindale. It got to the point where during COVID, Irwindale became like a thing, right? Or Hoonigan started using Irwindale, and it became like an actual venue. But up until then, like, nobody really did anything at Irwindale. It was like the Volkswagen guys, they did some VW drag days and stuff there, but nobody was really doing events there. So we didn't know if anybody would go to Irwindale. I didn't even know where Irwindale was. Honestly, I'd never been there before. But yeah, blew up. Absolutely blew up. And then we knew next year, okay, we've got to expand. We need a bigger venue. And so we went. I think it was Troy Adams, who owns a karting facility in Riverside. He recommended Storm Stadium. So we went over there. We met with them. So for those of you guys who don't know, Storm Stadium is a minor league baseball stadium in Lake Elsinore, California. There's this baseball stadium. There's a parking lot outside of it. And then to the right of it, there's a huge parking lot that probably has, I think, 1,500 parking spots. It's just a giant rectangle. But again, they did some SCCA stuff in there and some drift stuff here and there. Some people used it for testing and whatnot. And so it was kind of a good facility for us. And then the way it's a mile off the freeway, so you got enough runoff off the freeway. And then once you get down there, there's a couple like inlet streets that kind of loop around. Like the way the cars flow there works really well for us. And so, we signed the papers there and said, well, let's, give it a go. And it was a little different deal because we had to bring in like porta potties and fencing and stuff like that. But the price was right. We knew we'll be okay. Well, again, those early days, it was just like, let's just break even. That's all we need to do is we need to break even. And so I can't remember how many cars we had there, but probably like 800 or 900, like right off the bat. Like it was massive. And really good. And again, that event worked really, really well for us. And I want to say that we were there for probably 4 or 5 years. And then they kind of boned us on parking one year. There was an event the night before, and it was some sort of like a glow run or something like that at night. And they had all these different like water slides and stuff up in the parking lot.
Okay.
And that's where we kind of put our, we had 2 different trim levels for like general admission parking. We had a $20 lot and we had a $10 lot. The $10 lot was like a dirt lot. So these guys were supposed to have all this stuff cleaned up, for us by the morning. And, generally if they said something was going to happen, it happens. We got there in the morning and place isn't cleaned up. And so we lose probably 3/4 of those spots.
No.
Yeah. At $20 a piece.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a big hit. And so again, we'd been there for 4 or 5 years, so we knew what the parking numbers were. Like we know we're going to put this many in this lot. Yes. We know if this lot is full, which it always is, it's this much. And we were on the kind of deal with them then where we were kind of splitting the parking with them. And, they were running it for us and then just cutting us a check for what was left over. And that check was dramatically different than what it was previously, right? And so there was a guy, Raj, there who he was kind of like the contact there. And, I raised hell and ultimately they just wouldn't do anything for us. And I said, all right, we'll kick rocks. We'll leave, and so we left. And so after that, we ended up at Cal Speedway, Auto Club Speedway. Yeah, which was awesome. I mean, it was a fantastic venue for us. Like, it's just the way that it's set up to hold NASCAR events, set up to hold, big drag racing events. And so it was perfect spot for us. And the nice thing is like they do so many events there. They're so tied in with the city that I don't believe we ever really needed any extra permitting. All of the bathrooms and whatnot were all there. And so they were really easy to work with. Like, it was awesome. And we never really went to them for any sort of a quote because we thought it was going to be like triple the price.
Gotcha.
And it ended up being like a fantastic deal for what it was. And we should have went sooner, you know. But we went there, and then that first year, I think we were out in their fan zone, which is outside of the NASCAR track. And we had a big vendor area with our normal like 30, 40 vendors. And then there was a big rectangular parking lot next to it, and we put 1,000 cars in there. And so that year was like, it was very good. And that was the year where it rained right at the end of the day.
Okay.
I want to say we might have did that lot for 2 years in a row. I forget. But anyways, right at the end of the day, like a storm came in at like 4:30, but there was like lightning miles and miles away, but it was just outside of like the lightning zone, where if lightning strikes within 3 miles, we would have had to shut the show down. And so we just kind of snuck it in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No way. You would have to shut it down?
Oh, yeah. If lightning was within like 5 miles or something like that, it was kind of like, hey, the event's over.
Oh,
because there's a bunch of like metal easy ups and everything outside. It makes sense, right? But yeah, we kind of snuck it in. And then at that point, it was kind of like the natural progression was to do like, well, let's do a drag event. You know what I mean? Like, let's kind of go back to our roots. Like, this stuff all started with drag racing. Like, we used to go to all the early events at Palmdale and the IDRC stuff at Pomona. I'm kind of like, well, let's bring in drag racing never went away, but I'm kind of like, well, let's bring it back. You know, there was nothing going on really at Pomona any longer. Battle of the Imports was long gone. You know, there wasn't really, I don't really remember. I don't think there's any really good drag events that were Honda specific. None that were Honda specific for sure.
For sure,
I don't
yeah.
even remember them being any good drag events at that point. So I was kind of like let's do the drag racing thing again. And so got together with the track, had a good conversation with them. The rental for the drag racing facility was again super reasonable. They basically at that time would run the drag event for you.
Oh,
because
okay,
I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I could put a bunch of cars in a parking lot and put vendors in there, but I don't know how to run a drag event. Like, I don't drag race. I've been to a bunch, but I don't drag race. But they basically did that whole thing for us. And so
okay.
that point, we made one fatal mistake that year. We tried to take the ticketing money and the parking while the people were in the car. And it was, I don't know if people remember, but it was a shit show, dude. It was like 2.5 hours to get in. Like, it was miserable. Like, once we got to the point where we knew that we'd fucked up, like, we were at the point of no return. We couldn't stop. We didn't have a ticketing booth set up, you know. And so I was like, as you come in Auto Club Speedway, you go down this big straight, and then you get to an area where it kind of goes this way or that way. That way goes underneath the thing into the speedway. To the left goes to the drag race track, and it still goes all the way around. And I just sat way out there, like literally like a half a mile away, and I'm just watching these dudes, you know, wait in line. And I was basically just playing traffic cop there for letting the people go around the line that were trying to get inside the tracks. There was like a track day going on, and just like going, fuck, man, we failed. Like, we completely failed. You know, it was brutal. And there were times where I would message ahead and I'd go, dude, just let the next 50 cars in free. Like, we just got to get people off the street. Like, this is miserable. Even my wife came, and you couldn't get around the line. So my wife waited an hour and a half to get in. Like, it was a complete shit show. And we just made that one fatal mistake. And it was because, you know, another promoter we talked to said that they did it that way. Not at that event, but they did it that way. And it just seemed like it would work, because otherwise we were going to have to set up like a ticketing booth, which just seemed like kind of a pain in the ass. And, you know, we obviously should have done it. But yeah, it was a nightmare. But again, you end up creating demand, I think, you know? So it's like, when the stuff is kind of chaotic like that, it almost gets more press. And again, but at the end of the event, like, I was super bummed, and I was like, this just won't happen again. Like, this won't happen again. You
Man,
know?
that's so tough, bro. Just to,
because you're just helpless at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fix it. You know, you're just, hey, we're sorry. It is what it is. You know, we made a fatal flaw, and we can't fix it. You know, the best we can do is get it right the next year. And so the next year we came back, and that would have been 2019.
Okay.
And we fixed all that stuff, and fucking the cars just flew in. Like, from turning off of Cherry into the event to parking, like 10 minutes tops. Like, we crushed it, and to the point where people were walking in, and I was like, hey, what do you guys think about that line this year? And they were like, oh, it's way better than last year. But yeah, it was like probably my most frustrating moment the year before, and my proudest moment the next year, because we were perfect.
Yeah.
And I think we placed again, that was a 50 vendor year, 50 vendors in like an hour and a half. Then we parked 1,100 cars, and then there were another couple hundred racers, and so it was a fucking huge event, and it was flawless. Like, it was really good.
Man, it sucks to. I love to hear it from the actual organizer's point of view, because I've heard it so much from the spectators.
Right.
You know, there's an event. It's called Beamer Invasion, and they're from the East Coast, and then they came and did Cali. And there's one event that they did, and it was at the Fairplex. No, it wasn't at the Fairplex. Excuse me, I'm not sure. I forget. I don't fucking know. It was some event in LA. I think it was Auto Club. Yeah, it was Auto Club, Irwindale. It happened that weekend that it was like a heat wave.
Yeah.
And that's all everybody would talk about.
Right.
The whole event and the whole year, that's all they would talk about.
Yeah.
Even up to the next year. Oh, it was so much nicer. I'm like, damn, that sucks, because these guys can't control the weather.
No, dude, events are hard.
know?
Yeah, events are hard. Then we're spoiled out here.
Yeah.
Where, like I've never been rained out in California. I've never been rained out ever, and it's because it just doesn't rain.
Yeah.
But if you're in the Midwest or something like that, like it's rained 3 times in Ohio. We've always gotten lucky in Florida, but yeah, events are hard. And again, if you just make something looks good on paper and you've got a big event and it doesn't work, like you can't rectify that. You can't, hey, we're going to switch and do it this way. Like, you're done. You just have to live with it. You just got to be better. I think that's why I love watching those like event documentaries where they end up being like a shit show. Like, I've seen like those Firefest ones, like probably 20 times each. Like, I love watching those because I can go like, oh yeah, I know what he's thinking right now. Or I've watched the one about the 99 Woodstock. Yeah, those, like, I love watching those as a a promoter.
Yeah.
But yeah, events they're just hard. Like, I'm glad I don't do it for a living. I've never met the guy, but the dude, Cliff Wallace, who's got one going like every weekend or something like that. He's
is that
import?
IFO?
I think so. Yeah. Import. Yeah. I think it's IFO.
Okay.
But yeah. a couple times I've looked at his schedule and go,
how?
I don't know how this dude does it. I think sometimes he's got them going on in multiple states, and I don't, like, you're just built different to do that shit, man. Like, I couldn't. The stress of that would destroy me.
I mean, as a vendor, it's stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a promoter, you're responsible for all the vendors.
For sure. All
the people, the staff, the track staff. Somehow you're responsible for the weather. You know what I mean? Like, I would never do it for a living. But yeah, props to that dude. Like I said, I've never met him. I've just always looked from afar, and that guy just looks like he hustles. And I always appreciate what, like, Don, I've never been to Don's event in Port Alliance.
Oh, okay.
But I've just talked to him about his logistics and his staff, and I'm just like, dude, that's another level.
Yeah, shout out to Don, man. That was so Eibach Meet was the first time I ever set up a booth, and the next time was for Import Alliance. Okay. So that was the first show I ever went to that was, I think that was just the next event.
Right.
I don't even think I did anything else.
Yeah, if you were going to travel outside of California, that would be like the biggest one to go to, because like your Nopi Nationals and all that stuff was already, gone at that point.
Yeah. And I think it was that summer of 2010.
Yeah. And probably,
it was
60-70% Honda at that time.
Yeah. And
so it made sense.
A lot of the people, because you would see some of the cars that would be on Honda tuning.
Right.
Some of them would be from, the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then, or Midwest, and you get to see them out there. So it was definitely great to see a whole different world over there. Literally. People talk differently.
Oh, it's different.
Dressed differently.
It's different in the Midwest. Like, we used to go back, in the Honda Club days, we would be a vendor at like the Nopi Nationals. And that was like a scene. Like, that was wild.
They're trying to come back.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they are coming back. What do you think of that?
I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, more events the better.
Yeah.
They're never going to capture what it was prior, and they may not want to capture what it was prior, because it was, the hotels, there were, not riots, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it was a scene back then, but it was crazy. But it was like, the people there were nuts, man. Like, just Chevy Cavaliers and all sorts of stuff. And then I went back. So another one, I went back one year with my buddy Bobby, and we stayed with a bunch of dudes from Honda Tech again, who I'd never met. Like, hey, we're gonna come back. We're gonna crash with you guys. And they were like, I think they were from North Carolina, and they were like shaking us awake at like 6 a.m. Hey, we gotta go. Okay, cool. And then, you want a beer? No, they were starting to drink at like 6, 7 a.m. and they'd go the whole day, man. Like they would go the whole day. It was wild. And it was hot. It was like in August or September, and it was 100 degrees, 100% humidity, and these dudes would just drink. And then you do like the full day there Saturday, and then you'd come back.
Yeah.
It was a 2-3 day event. Like it was nuts.
Yeah. Insane, dude. Yeah. So what I don't remember what the first meet was outside of California.
So it was Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Florida.
So I, there was always, people wanted us to do it for a long time, and I just I drug my feet. I just, I didn't have a venue or anything. And then finally my buddy Greg Park was like, dude, he goes, you need to do something outside. Cause he was one of our original vendors at California. To this day, he still comes. He might be like one of the, maybe like the top 2 or 3 longest running vendors.
Does he do the t-shirts?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And so Greg has got, if you can find him on Instagram, I don't know what he's under, Greg Park, but probably the raddest car collection ever. I mean, the most car collection I've ever seen. Like, he's got an F40, he's got a McLaren P1, he's got Skyline, he's got everything. Like, but the best cars.
He's the one that created Crooks and Castles.
No. So he's involved kind of in that world, does a lot of screen printing for people in that industry, and he does fulfillment for a lot of those guys.
Antisocial.
I think he was involved in it somehow. I don't know if he was the founder, but eventually, Craig, yeah, he was involved in it.
I'm pretty sure I met him when we went to Auto Salon.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Super good. Okay. Super good dude.
Yes.
But anyways, he said, hey, we go back to Formula Drift every year, and there's a UTI campus there, Universal Technical Institute in Orlando, and they do a lot of events there. I have a contact. I'm going to hook you up with her. And I go, cool. So we met Pam. I don't know if you ever remember her, but she was at UTI. And so, yeah, we went back and we did Florida. And that was in Orlando. Great venue. It was all kind of took place in the back of their campus. Just the perfect size for us. Like I said, all the Florida guys like really embraced us. Like, I still talk to all those dudes. And that was probably
17, 16?
16, 17, yes. It's been 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, I consider those guys friends, you know what I mean? Like, they're just great people. And then, so while we're there, and I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, we get introduced to Eric Pedersen. And so he drove his CRX from Ohio to the Florida meet. I meet him at the Florida meet. Hey, I'm Eric Pedersen. I work for Honda in Marysville. We have a museum. I'm going to talk to them about, seeing if you can do an event there. And so within, I can't remember if it was that year or the year after, then, the people from Florida, I met Greg, and then we did Ohio. Yeah. And then, a bunch of the Florida guys came to Ohio with us, which was awesome. And then we continue to do Ohio to this day, and it's still at the Honda Heritage Center. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but it's the museum in Marysville. It's across the street from the plant in Marysville. And it's a great venue, and they've just like really embraced us the last couple of years too. There's a new guy, and his name's Carl, and super enthusiast, English guy, just awesome. And he runs the Cars and Coffee events out in Torrance now. But he's kind of responsible for that facility as well. And so with his help, like, he's infused like a bunch of enthusiasm into our event in Ohio. So it's like, it is awesome now. Like, I think we had 400 cars last year, which for an Ohio event is crazy because we're still only Hondas and Acuras. But the quality of the cars in Ohio is amazing. But we get the best classics in Ohio. And I don't know why. I don't know if maybe the cars never got driven or if they only got driven during the summer or whatever, but the classics, like, we get a bunch of CVCCs, just really cool stuff. And and then from there it was kind of like, well, what's next? You know, where do we go now? And it was kind of like, I think H-Day had kind of moved out of like ADCO at that time, where ADCO shut down, and then Javier was kind of out in the Maryland area. And I never want to go in somebody else's area and step on their toes, But at that point, he'd kind of moved up, and I'm like, well, let's do Jersey, and we're not using anybody else's venue. We just use that, that baseball field,
Yes.
In Trenton, and that was a good one too.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah,
I remember
and then
that was so good.
Yeah, and then after circling back to the big drag event in California, that was 19, and then I think we did Jersey that year, and then we did Ohio, and we podcasted in Ohio,
Yes.
and then 2020 hit.
Crazy.
And that was it. And so that was the end of Auto Club Speedway. We couldn't do anything in Jersey because that stadium was closed now for, due to COVID, and, anything that was run by like the city or something like that wasn't going to be open for a long time. Honda, we didn't do anything in Ohio for 2 years. We never skipped a beat in Florida, of course.
Yeah.
Florida's wild. Like, I want to say in like March, April, May. I want to say in like May of 20, we did a track day in Florida.
Yeah.
Like it was on the books already, and they're like, "Do you want to cancel?" And I'm like, "We've sold all these spots, and like it's way out it's in Ocala in the middle of nowhere, and like nobody's checking anything there. Well, let's do it." And then I think later that year we ended up doing a meet, and then the next year we did a track day and a meet, and then the next year, I think in 2022 is when we came back to California. Everything had finally opened up. The hard thing with what we do is the events are so big that you have to pull all these permits and this and that, and so it's like nobody was willing to open up for us. And I get it, you don't want to get in trouble with the city or the government or whatever the case may be. And so, but yeah, the issue with our event being so big is we couldn't get a permit for anything, so we literally missed 2 years in California, coming off the best year that we had ever had. Like we were like, if we would have kept that drag facility, like it just would have kept doing this. I think we had, up until that year, I want to say that was our 16th anniversary, maybe in 2019, 16th or 17th or something like that. But we'd have 17 years of growth up until that point. Yeah. Like just the line was like this.
Gotcha.
And then we did that, because of COVID, because, the market just, that 2 years that we were off in California, like everything just kind of changed. It seemed like the demographic was different. More kids, kids weren't into cars. People weren't getting together as much. The online thing became way more prevalent. Like I can't really put my finger on it. And then it took us, a couple of years to build back up. And then this year being the 20th anniversary, we were back to like those, wild numbers from the past, 51 vendors, 1,000 cars. Like it was banger this year, like really good.
So this year it was at Storm Stadium.
Yeah.
So how did that conversation end up happening again with everything that happened with the parking? Did you just...
So the dude that we used to work with there prior was gone.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have went back and worked with that guy again. But we were there last year too. And so we'd done a couple events there. The new guy that I deal with there, Mark, is awesome. Like he's real easy. He's kind of like I am, where we just text each other, and I know he's going to take care of shit. He knows I'm going to take care of shit. The city of Lake Elsinore is awesome to deal with. Like they're rad. They're super easy. Just they're like us being there. And then the Riverside County sheriffs are awesome too. Like they show up, they just chill, they don't write any tickets, they just sit there. They just kind of maintain order, right, and make sure people aren't leaving. So Elsinore, in terms of a destination for like a car event, is fantastic. And so it was just kind of a no-brainer to go back there because Auto Club Speedway's gone. Like they don't do anything there anymore. Irwindale's gone. I think there's still that stadium in San Diego. Maybe Qualcomm might be gone too. I don't know. Like there's really not anything left. And again, we need something that's very big, and so just going back to there was kind of a natural for us.
Got you.
But I wish we could, as much as I like being there, I would like to get back to where we were with drag racing and such, but to do like Bakersfield or something like that, it's just too risky. Like I don't know how many people want to drive. I don't want to drive to Bakersfield,
Yeah, it's I mean, Bakersfield's a hard one because you think, well, it's a track and it's in Cali and it's within a couple hours.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is there's 5 events every Saturday and Sunday somewhere, somehow.
Right.
Yeah. I think,
and you don't have to drive 3 hours to get there.
Today's Wednesday. I bet you there's 3 things going on tonight within an hour drive, if that. So you're very spoiled. So it's like to drive out to Bakersfield.
Yeah, if we did anything there, it would be in addition to the meet. So we would always do our big meet in the spring, and then maybe we do in the fall drag event or something like that.
Yeah.
But all that being said, like Javier came out and did an H day there, right? And so if he's going to do something in Bakersfield, then I'm not going to do anything in Bakersfield. Like, you got a Honda drag event, you don't need me. Like, he does a great job, you know. So if he comes back, we wouldn't even consider doing anything. But if he didn't come back, you know, we talked a little bit to some of the people at the event who would be interested in helping with something like that. So maybe we could facilitate it, but ultimately for now, I mean, we don't really have too many other options outside of Elsinore. You know? But we're always on the lookout.
I like it, man. It's cool.
It's cool. Yeah, I mean, we're earlier in the year now, so it's not, you know, this year was a little warm, but we used to be like 2 months sooner or later.
Yeah,
you know? So we were like in full blown summer at that point.
Pretty close to about now.
Yeah, no, really, yeah, really, end of April, usually middle April. Or, I'm sorry, end of May, middle of May. But yeah, we've been on March 22nd the last 2 years. The weather last year was beautiful. It was like 72, and then this year was, you know, high 70s, early 80s, which is fine.
Perfect.
Which, yeah, it's just, I mean, if you're out in the sun all day long, yeah, it's going to be warm. It just is what it is. But, you know, it beats the rain.
Yeah.
It beats wind.
So now let's get into this year, comparing this year to like others. How did this one pan out?
So it was good. It was busy. Like it was very busy. So I think people kind of have to understand like the timeline. And sometimes I'm a little too nice because I've been on the other end of this. Like I've been the guy who, you know, has to get there with his car at 6 a.m. and then you're stuck there till like midnight, you know, and that sucks, right? And so we like people to be able to come and go. I've been the vendor who had to get there the day before and set up, you know what I mean? And that sucks. And I've been there the vendor who's had to be there at 5 a.m. and set up, and then you're there till 5, and that sucks, right? And so I don't like to put anybody through that. And so what we do is we start rolling vendors in from 7:30. Well, I mean, they're told to be there between 7:30 and 8. So we place 51 vendors in an hour and a half. And that's the vendor, their shit, their booth car, you know, all of their stuff. We have to have them in a location and them at least unpacking and getting their stuff out of that area in an hour and a half. And then we have the show cars or the meat cars start showing up at 9. And so we really have about, I don't know, ultimately an hour and a half to park 1,000 cars, you know, is what it comes down to. 1,000 cars, 1,050 cars. Now, half of those spots people pull into, which is fast, and half of those spots people back into, which is a nightmare, you know? And so people don't realize how long it takes to fill an aisle of 50 cars when they have to go all the way to the end and back in, back in, back in, back in. Half these dudes can't drive. They can't back up a car, right? So it's just like, and I feel for them. Like there's a lot of pressure too because everybody's watching. I'm sitting there and I'm just absolutely busting their balls, like their chick or their wife's in the driver's seat, and I'm just ragging on these dudes, you know. And I'm laughing at them. But again, it's a lot of pressure. Like, hey, dude, you're killing my line. Like you're way back here. Like we're trying to get the bumpers to kind of semi-match so it looks decent in photos, but ultimately we're like, dude, just come on, man, you know. And then they're trying to pull forward so they can put canopies and shit behind, you know. But it's like, it's hard. And so the elephant in the room is this year we had cars that didn't get in, and everybody thinks that we oversold it, which we would never do. We wouldn't oversell an event and say, hey, oh, well, you're shit out of luck you didn't get in, you know what I mean? So this year the issue is, you know, we know exactly how many vendors we get every year. We know exactly how many cars we get every year. We track how many cars show up with trailers. And this year we got 3 times as many trailers. And that took up way too much room. So we normally get about 25 cars at the event being trailered there. And this year, between, you know, the 300 or 400 extra cars we had and the vendors, we had 75 trailers. And so every trailer needs to go somewhere. So at first we put them across the street, filled up that lot. And then at that point, there's nowhere for them to go. 25 would have fit over there, right? And then at that point, there's nowhere to go. We had to pivot and we had to put them in the parking lot. There's no street parking anywhere around the stadium where you can have trailers, you know, line up. So we actually ended up having to putting them in the lot. And then every trailer is, you know, what is it, 40 feet long or something like that. So it's like 3 car lengths. So for every trailer that we had to put in the lot, we lost 3 car spots, right? And that was the issue. And so the best we could do at that point was just pivot, you know, and just say, hey, as soon as this car comes out, we'll get another one in. You know, you always have like 30, 40 cars who pay and don't show up. And so, you know, you kind of cross your fingers and go, man, I hope this is going to work out. Then it just got to the point where we were absolutely full, and there was still a line of cars to get in. So we gave out some refunds, and some of the people were patient and they just hung out on the side. And then as cars left, we pulled them back in.
Gotcha.
But we couldn't pull them in and double park them, and we would have got the event shut down. But ultimately, we didn't oversell the event. Like I can tell you within a car how many we can put in that parking lot based on how many vendors we have. It's very easy because we put people in parking spots. It's just a matter of parking or counting the parking spots, but we don't have any control over 50 extra trailers showing up. It's never happened before, and we've used this venue now 8 or 9 times. And I don't know what the case is. I don't know why it happened. It's the 20th anniversary. Everybody's going to bring out the best of the best, or a lot of the OGs came. There were a lot of people there, and there was a lot of excitement, but we didn't think there were going to be that many trailers there. And that was ultimately the issue. But like we did the last time, like that will be fixed.
Yeah.
Next year it will absolutely not happen. I already have a solution for it. It's a lot across the street that will be groomed, and we'll be able to park 100 trailers in there, and it won't affect anything, in the lot. But again, like we were talking about, like once that stuff starts going wrong, there's just no pivot.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do at that point. You can apologize and say, we'll do better, but obviously there was no malicious intent. It's just something we have absolutely no control over.
Yeah. I feel bad because I brought my car in a trailer and I didn't even say I was bringing it.
There you go. So you're part. So you're part. So 3 people didn't get in because you didn't communicate with me, right? But again, like we had, like this year, like the vendor area this year was wild. Like the quality of the cars, and like the vendors wanted to bring out the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Some of the vendors had 5 booth cars, and all 5 of the booth cars had a trailer, or dudes coming from like Arizona and this and that. And it's like, dude, if I was coming from Arizona, like shit, I would trailer my car. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It would be so much easier to trailer your car. So I get all that stuff, right? And so we've just, like I said, we have another lot set up next year for that specific purpose. And so that problem, is fixed, but it wasn't a matter of us overselling a lot. Like I would never do that. It doesn't make sense to do.
So was that a lot of the feedback that you were getting online afterwards?
Yeah, it was just, it was 2 things. It was best event I've ever been to.
Gotcha.
And then a small percentage like, oh man, we waited in line, we couldn't get in. And I get that. Like that sucks, dude.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And again, I was out there. Like I wasn't hiding in the corner. I was out there in that line, apologizing, giving people refunds and saying, hey, dude, that guy just moved. Get this dude in, or this girl's been waiting for 30 minutes. Put her around these guys because they just cut in front of her, but get her in, So I sat out there for a long time just trying to clean all that stuff up, and actually, got to the point where I was so far behind that I had to sprint inside at some point and get the judging going for the car show and just kind of keeping the meet moving. But yeah, it's like I take that stuff personal. Like I don't say, hey, go fix that. It's like I go out there and I fix it. Like the previous years where I was the one, 6, half a mile out from the show, just, directing traffic. And it's what I did when it was at Eibach. I kind of take the brunt of it, because I'm the promoter, and ultimately I'm responsible for all that stuff.
I love it, man. I love to have these combos because I can just think of somebody that didn't get in. They're probably thinking of the promoter just like counting money,
right?
Like
no, I feel terrible about. Like I take it literally personally.
Just painting the picture of who you are, how you started it, how the whole thing started. Mm-hmm. Like this puts so much more perspective into it all. This isn't like some huge production where just somebody's like making a money grab.
Well, yeah, and and the reality is, if you look at like what we charge, it's almost a joke. Like I think I can't remember if it was 18 or 19, we doubled the price to get in. We went from $5 to $10.
Yeah.
It's still $10 to get in. Like it's 50 vendors, 1,000 cars. Like, how much does it cost to get into some of like the stance events?
I mean, if I was going to go to an event, I wouldn't blink at $50-$60.
It's crazy. It's like minimum 25 or 30. Like there's competitors kind of like in this Honda space now that throw events like a quarter the size of ours, and they're 25 or $30 to get in, like pre-admissions 20 or something like that. But again, like we don't do this for a living. Like we do it because we like to do it. So it's like we don't need to make a ton of money doing it. And so we're $10 to get in. Like the registration price for the cars has been the same for 12 years. Doesn't go up.
And that's something that you don't want to do?
No, I don't. It doesn't need to go up.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Dude, it's like you're paying $45 to put your car in a parking lot for 5 hours. Like I'm not going to charge you $80 to do that. That doesn't make sense. Like, and it's just, inflation on our end goes up. Like the price of the stadium is more. I pay people more. It isn't that. And then the vendor prices have pretty much been the same for years and years. So we don't raise the price really on anything at all, because again, like Rodrez and I, we don't do this for a living. Like, I don't want it to go away. I'm not going to charge $30 because we'll make a little bit more at the gate, but then the vendors are going to do terribly because there's just at the end of the day, the reality is you're going to get half as many people show up if you're charging $30, right? And I would rather have 3,000 people show up at $10 versus 1,500 people show up at 20.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit. Like, I want them to do well, and that's why you've got, like when you walk into the event, who's the first vendor right on the right hand side?
Is Grady?
Every year.
Yeah.
Right? Every year.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like they come back every year because the event's a hit. We don't overcharge them. You're always going to have a bunch of people there. But look at like the people that are there every year. I mean, I would say probably, so if we had 51 vendors this year, I would say that 80% have been 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Right? And some of those are just because the businesses maybe just opened up like 12 years ago or something like that. They might not have been in business like the entire time. Like, so it's wild. And it's because we don't, charge, $30-$40 to come in. It's because we don't kind of go this direction because this is the trend. Okay, we're a stance show now.
For
right?
sure.
Okay, now it's a rave.
Yeah.
Right? We're doing this. Like, we don't even change the damn music.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the music's been the same for 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a mistake. I think you told us one year, you guys got to change the music, man. I'm like, dude, we're not changing the music.
Give me the aux. Give me the aux cord.
Right. It's been, that music's been going on for so long that it's done like the full revolution and has now come back into style. So the shit that everybody was wearing to the meet 20 years ago is now back in style. It's the baggy jeans are back.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, we're not. The only thing is that we're not wearing is those ridiculous, like really wide shirts that just go barely past kids' belly buttons.
Oh, the crop top.
Thank God we didn't wear that shit. But all the other shit that we were wearing is now back in style.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
That's funny. No.
But yeah, it again, just circling back to that, like it wasn't malicious. Like it was just something that completely we had no control over, and there was no pivot.
Yeah.
There was no pivot.
It's good to highlight these things.
Yeah.
Just because then people can understand, like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And there was the one girl who had like the video of like her waiting in line, and it went like, she had like 300 followers, but the video got like millions of views or something.
Oh,
it was super viral that night, man. And I was just like, oh man. But again, it's like, as much as I hate to say it, like every time that there is any sort of an instance like that, it actually just creates more demand for the next year, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so if you're watching this and you didn't get in, I apologize. Hit me up prior to next year and I'll take care of you.
Good man right there, brother. The other thing was the restrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our guy dropped off half as many as he should.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Oh.
I said, let's just run it back. Let's do the same amount as last year. And again, I'm just a big texter, and we use the same guys for everything every year. And so I just send out a text, hey, let's same as last year, run it back, deliver them on Saturday. Here's the gate code. That's it. Right. And so I get there Saturday to kind of chalk the vendors, and I'm looking at the restrooms, and I'm like, God, I thought we had more than that last year. Like, I don't know. And then, but the lot itself that night was kind of a shit show because they're doing all this construction in the lot. And so I was on the phone with the storm guys basically saying, dude, like, you got to call the city and get this stuff still out of the way. Like, it's where our vendors take place. So I was kind of thinking more about that. But yeah, it was just looking back the day after I looked at our invoicing from the previous year, and he delivered half as many as what he did the previous year. So he thought that, the previous year we only had 9 or something like that, or the previous year we had 20 or something like that, because we've never had that issue before, right? Like, we've never had that issue.
Yeah.
It's never happened, right? And we've always had shows that are big. Like, we've never had a 300 car event there. They've always been big. We've never had an issue with the restrooms, right? And then looking back, I'm like, shit, this dude delivered half the amount. Again, it's our fault. Like I said, I saw it that day. I recognized it. And there was just so much other shit going on that I didn't really act on it, but I knew something was fishy. And then, getting into that day, I was like, oh man, like there's just something's wrong. There's not enough. Like I said, we've never had lines for restrooms ever.
Yeah.
Right.
But those were the only two things that I heard.
Yeah.
Because you only hear the bad stuff.
Right. No, that's it. Like you don't. I mean, but you scroll those comments, and the other guys were like, "Dude, I got there. I pulled up. I got in 10 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
like it was quick." And then you still have the deal too, where you get the general public who shows up way early.
Yeah.
And then they try to get in line, and they think the line to actually get in the meet is like the line to park in general parking, and so you get 50, 60, 70 of those guys who arrive there at 9:30, and then they get all the way around, and we're like, dude, you can't come in the event till like 11. Like you have to go down to that parking lot over there and just chill. Like that's why we say, do not get there before 11. There's no point. Like we're not going to let a general mission person in before 11.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll get in. Like they don't sell out, you know, there won't even be a line. But yeah. People don't always listen.
I had a great time.
I had a great time too.
I had a great time. It was nice to bring the car out.
Yeah.
I hadn't brought it out for, I rarely bring it out. I had the skate rail that got
that was cool. That was super cool.
Attention.
Yeah.
Bro, I've had that for like 2 years. Raul made that for me, and I've had this vision. I just saw it sitting there on the shelf. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put it on there.
Right.
Because we were trading.
Well, it ties in perfect with the guy I was talking about earlier, who was on TMR magazine doing a kickflip over the car. Right. It's perfect.
Yeah. You know, that's where I'm at now, bro. Is everything that I'm into, I'm just gonna mix it all up, and there's gonna be people to support it somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
You know, if it doesn't make sense to you, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I know that there's car guys that are skaters or been into skateboarding or appreciate skateboard culture.
Yeah.
You know, like it just all mixes together.
At the end of the day, if you just do anything different like that, like it's just going to get attention. Like you're going to end up, you know, with people walking around like Connor Pro Jason saying, what is this? You know, and you got to explain it and they're like, oh, okay. But yeah, everybody took a photo of it.
Yeah.
Like it's good marketing.
It worked.
Yeah. It worked great.
It definitely worked.
Yeah. No, it worked great. But yeah, it was a great event. I mean, it was like in terms of a 20th anniversary, like it doesn't really get much better than that.
Yeah,
like it was tons of cars. I thought the quality of the cars was good. Tons of Type R's. Like the vendors were stoked. Like the new vendors were stoked. We had some kind of new sponsors come in. Like the Big Mike, he actually was the one who kind of gave us the idea to do multiple t-shirts. Like we had a t-shirt designed, and I was like 50-50 on it, right? And I sent it to Rodrez, and he's like, yeah, it's all right, you know? And I was like, I was just so busy with other shit. I just couldn't think of really anything else, you know? And it was kind of what my guy suggested, and he's usually pretty good about it. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But it was kind of like caricature of a car in the back, you know? And it's just like stuff that we normally don't do.
Gotcha.
And I sent it to Mike, and Mike's like, dude, it's terrible. Like you can't do that, you know? And Mike's like, what if you did this, right? What if you did 3 different cars? And I'm just thinking of like, 3 different cars,
3 different batches.
6 different sizes, you know? And I'm like, dude, that's going to be so much work. But I think he wanted to do 4. And I'm like, well, let's cut it down to 3. Let's do DC, EG, EK. Because I think those are kind of like the icons for me.
Yes, for sure.
Those are the icons, right? And then Joey, the flyer he did, like Joey went back. Joey used to do our flyers a long time ago, and he went back and did our 20th anniversary flyer, and the design was just sick. Like it was the best flyer we've had in a long time. And so I was like, well, let's just do this. Like we've done that side profile of the cars for years, and the shirts always sell really well. Like let's just take like the 20th anniversary logo, put the side profile of the car below, and then let's just really shout out all the vendors below, like, or the sponsors, like, you know, like let's make their logos a little bit bigger, and let's make the size of the shirt on the rear a little bit bigger. And dude, it was like, I forget how many passes it was. Like it was a pain in the ass to print, you know, but I'm like, dude, it's our 20th anniversary. Like if they're $15 each, you know, even if we're buying like 1,000 of them, like I don't care. Let's just make them really bitchin'. And yeah, they came out great, man. And we sold the shit out of them too.
Nice.
Yeah, we sold out on pretty much everything except for like some random sizes, and then did a reprint on them recently too. So the shirts were awesome. Like the merch was really good.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
What a good time, man.
It was good. Yeah, it was, and again, it kind of fired me up to hey, let's get back to Florida. let's do Austin, and again, now with this new gig I have, I can travel a little bit more. It makes it easier.
Yeah.
But now I feel like we're back kind of like on this growth pattern
Yes,
again.
for
I
sure.
feel if we when we go to Florida in September, I think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just excited to see us there again, and all those old OGs in Florida still have their cars.
Yeah.
Like Florida is still like a hot spot for all that stuff, right? And then again, like I've been wanting to do something in Texas for a while. There was a venue we were going to use a distributor, but just like the way their lot works, they're like a 24/7 operation now, so they don't really have like a day where we can use their lot like they used to. And so I think if we end up with Cobb or something like that in Austin, I think that would be a cool destination. And again, like we don't have to make like if that stuff just covers cost, we're good. Like if I can get me and Mike and some of our buddies and we can go to Austin and we can meet a bunch of new people and then we can get back and I just break even, like I'm great with that. Because ultimately, like once you get there, it's not too much work. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of cars in a parking lot.
Bro, I've been wanting to go to Austin so bad.
Me too.
Dude. Fuck. Maybe I could sneak away.
Yeah, Austin would be a quickie. Like you fly in on Friday, you come back Monday or Sunday. It's quick, but I would want to spend like a day or two extra in Austin too, just to eat and just chill.
Yeah, the baby's gonna be like a month old.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Dude,
I don't know if I'll be able to sneak out.
No, that would be tough, man.
Man, I wish I could go to more events, bro.
Yeah.
I really miss it.
Yeah.
I miss those times, and I cherish those times that we had.
Yeah.
And that we all spent as a group. And
Yeah, I'm just kind of recently getting back into a lot of that. So my son's played basketball for this whole time, and I ran a travel basketball program this whole time, and so my weekends have been consumed for years, and so I've missed everybody's events. Guys who have supported my events for all these years, I've missed their events. Because I had to do the basketball thing. Like I'm a director of this big program, and my son's playing, and I'm a coach. I have to do that stuff, but I'm done with most of that now, and so now I'm back. Went to DPK Dave's meet in Long Beach, which was rad, like a month and a half ago. I need to get down to like an auto fashion thing.
Yeah.
But going back to like the cars and coffee stuff again, man, like I'm kind of like reinvigorated. Like
I love it.
with cars again.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. And I just have more time to drive them. Like, it's get a car out of the garage, go for a quick spin, get it back in the garage. Like it's fun again. You know?
No.
And that's the beauty of cars is like you can leave and you can come back.
Yeah.
Like there's no age limit, right? Like you can do it when you're 55, you can do it when you're 60, you can do it when you're 70. Like I might be one of those Corvette dudes like in jean shorts and New Balance when I'm 75 with the lawn chairs. Like, and if I am, so be it.
So be it.
I'm good with that.
No, I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I want to get back to it. I want to get back out traveling.
Yeah.
And hanging out with you guys and those Airbnbs. They were so fun, man.
It was
having
good.
such good times. I love it.
Honestly, those were the meets are always fun, but it's like it's the hangs before the meets were always great. The person who would always have like the thing at their house, or we'd have everybody over at the Airbnbs, or just the random food. Like, let's go to White Castle and see if we can get RC to eat like the whole family pack by himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the pools,
going
you know
swimming.
Dude, we're just having the random dudes come over who we've never met before. Yeah, come hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah, those times were. It seems like a million years ago, but it was.
Yeah, right.
It was so like the Florida stuff seems like a long time ago.
10 years.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Time be flying, bro.
Yeah, man.
Well, you created something awesome, bro.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think I would ever be doing it this long, but now, like I said, I hope we do it another 20 years. I hope it's something I can pass down to maybe. My son, maybe he's going to want to do it down the road and I just help a little bit. Like, I don't know, but I want to keep it going now. And again, I think with the Type R's and just the influx of cool Hondas all of a sudden, I think it's going to keep going. And I think also too, with the older stuff becoming a little bit more collectible and a little bit more valuable, it's going to help as well.
Definitely.
And again, it doesn't need to be 1,000 cars. It could be 200 or 300 and still be great.
Yeah.
If the right people are there.
For sure.
And I think that's the key to like longevity with all this stuff is just having the right people at these events. Like if it's a bunch of douchebags, you'll get a year or two out of it. But if it's like your core guys, you, Big Mike, Jason Harradon, like all the OG guys, and then you get an influx of like the newer enthusiasts and they get to meet the old guys, I think that's kind of like the magic.
Yeah. Did you go to the that event the night before where Miles put it together?
No, dude. So I wanted to, but that Saturday before the event is a nightmare for me because I wake up, I run the rest of my errands in the morning to like your Walmart runs and all that stuff. Then at about 1 o'clock, I get to the venue, and then I spend about 4 or 5 hours like chalking the vendors. And so
Okay.
we've got to like draw in where creating the map and where every vendor is going to go. And so we had to chalk 50 of them. We got to come up with what makes sense based on like the dimensions of their booth, and then have it be presentable,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and then compress it as much as you can so it looks really good, knowing that we need all this space for a
For sure.
thousand cars, right? And so then I'm there. So you're literally out in the sun from 1 to like 5 or 6, right? And then when I get home, I still have to pack the car and get all that stuff ready to wake up at 4:30 in the morning the next day, right? To get there I like to be there by 5, just to kind of, gather myself and be ready. And so I like to go to the venue Saturday, do all that shit, come home, pack the car, drive back to Miles' event, get out of there at 11 or 12 or something like that, and then come home. Like it was too much. But I wish I would have went, because to have all
Yeah.
those OGs like in one place is like, it's super special,
Yeah.
like super special.
Yeah. It looked awesome, man.
Yeah. No, props to him for planning that too, because he was kind of hounding me about that too. And I was so busy. I was like, hey, man, just do it. And I'm happy to support it, but, and I'll do my best to get there, but I can't guarantee it. But man, I wish it would have been on Friday night is what I wish. And then I could have been there. But yeah, like he had Steph there, like everybody was there. Dave from Skunk 2, like all the heavy hitters, man. Like it was, and I appreciate him throwing that. Like Miles has been like a supporter forever. Like he comes out every single year, just the most down to earth dude. Like, and one of like literally the triple OGs.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he's done everything. He's had fast drag cars. He's had his own shop. He's had his own brand of turbo kits. Like he's done pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And then just an all around good dude.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's well, I was telling people it was like a high school reunion.
It really, yeah.
Because
It
you
is.
go to high school for 4 years.
Mhm.
Well, we've been doing this,
Right.
for
Yeah.
a long time.
And I think that's part of the magic though, is seeing those same people, and you just don't see them in other places. Like
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of these guys at the smaller stuff. You might see them at a Cars and Coffee or something like that, but you don't see that many in one location ever. Like
For
it
sure.
just doesn't really happen,
Yeah.
and they're going to be there. It's not like, oh, he's here. Like, he's going to be there. Right. Grady from Kenji's going to be, or Grady from, or Kenji from Grady
yeah.
is going to be there. Aaron from Spoon's going to be there. Brian from Hossport is
Hossport's
going to be there,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rodriguez is going to be there. You're going to be there. Rywire is going to be there. Like Matt at ICB was always kind of like a staple. Jaren's going to be there. Like it's just the same people,
Yeah.
which is awesome,
Yeah. Beautiful time, dude.
Yeah, man.
It definitely sparked something in me to get back into it.
Yeah.
So I definitely veered off.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I mean, you gotta go, you gotta build your brand and go where the business is too, right? Like the Honda stuff's always going to be there, but you've got to expand. Like if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, definitely. And the BMW stuff's been very exciting to see
Well,
that
and
growing.
it's a great community. Like
Yeah.
it's a great community. Like they've been to a bunch of BMW events, and they're fantastic. And there's a lot of them
Yeah.
that are fantastic. And it's it's across the country, and they're still building like enthusiast vehicles. We were talking about it earlier. Like even the newer stuff is still super good. And then you get into like the second, third, fourth, fifth owners. They're all going to be modified.
Yeah.
They're all going to be modified, right?
For sure.
Yeah, it was like kind of like the next market to jump into. Like you just completely skip over like the BRZ bullshit and all that, and go right to BMW. That's the
sure.
best way to do it.
Yeah, and everything else, it just falls in line.
The other stuff is just you can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but ultimately you got to go where the biggest enthusiast base is, especially the guys who want to modify their cars.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you've got a mortgage and you've got kids, and regardless of how cool the Honda stuff is and how long we've done it, like ultimately you got a family to feed, and you've got a business that needs to sustain.
Yeah, for sure. But working on a car, there's nothing like working on a Honda.
Oh, it's the
man.
best. It's the
I love
easiest.
it
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
it's just explaining it to people. It's like it's literally Legos, or people
Yeah.
would say, well, why do these get stolen all the time? And it's, well, because this can fit on this, and this can go on that, and that can go on that, like it makes sense. And then you can go to the track, and if the motor blows up, it's $600 to put a new one in, and it takes you 3 hours, and you're right back at it.
Yeah.
It's just the simplicity is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know what I forgot about is the one of the things that I think probably one of the best Honda experiences I have or we had is when we were in Japan. And when we went to Mugen.
Yeah, bro. You set that up.
Who did we get a tour from?
Freaking Honda Jr., the son, Mr. Honda. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Scott at King Motorsports for setting
he's
that
the
up.
one that
yeah, he set that up.
You?
But yeah, that was the last time that I took a picture with somebody. I have a thing where it's like I don't need to take my picture with anybody. You know, I don't care who it is outside of my family and my friends. Like, I don't need to take pictures with anybody. I'm not going to have anybody write something on a piece of paper for me ever, right? Yeah. But that was special. Like, hey, let me get a picture with you. Yeah. You know, like he was just the coolest guy.
I gotta find that because I have that picture.
I have it. Like I think I have it in my favorites. God, but yeah, that's one of my favorite memories.
What a good time, man.
Yeah. And that was awesome too. That was the best way to go to Japan, was just tagging along with you and Ryan. Yeah. Because you guys had already been, and I was, hey, wherever you guys want to go, I'm down. You know, and we spent half the time in Osaka, or half the time in Tokyo, then half the time in Osaka. But that was just like an epic trip. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, that was like amazing time. That was just like an amazing moment. Yeah. I mean, to take a tour of Mugen, and it's being led by Mr. Honda, like you don't get any better than that. And the guy, English was great. He was funny. I mean, he took his time. I mean, he talked to us before and after in that conference room. They gave us all those little good. I just gifted that to my buddy Tom because he's kind of like a Mugen collector, and I've just been sitting on it this whole time. And I'm like, you would probably appreciate this more. I got to, shake his hand and take the picture. That was enough for me, but I just moved all that stuff over to him. But yeah, that was like a super special moment.
Bro, you made that happen. You know how many people I've seen that went there and they're just in the lobby?
Right.
And big name people too that you would think that they would have an opportunity to go in.
Yeah.
But like we deadass went through that whole place and they explained everything.
Yeah, and it was Scott at King, and then when we got that tour of the NSX plant, that was Matt. That's right. Yeah, that was Matt at ICB set that up.
Wow.
Because that was another good one too. Like how many people got to tour the NSX plant and see being dynoed, being painted, being everything.
We saw the NSX get built from the first piece to them dynoing every start to finish
in that facility that is like 5 miles away from the museum probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Damn, bro. So many stuff I just forget.
Yeah. Well, another good one too is driving around in Osaka. I talk about this all the time when people talk about Civic Type R's. Is driving around Osaka like in a stock Civic Type R. Like that was just, there was something about that. Like we did the loop, right? Yeah. And it's just a special moment. We were
listening to like The Game or something.
Something like that.
50 Cent or something. That was driving, Right.
It might have even been like In Too Deep or something like that. I think I still have a video of that because it was a Instagrammable moment.
Yeah.
But that was super good.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like Hondas have, been the basis of all this.
Yeah.
Being into Hondas.
Special moments, bro.
Yeah.
Just forget it. There's so much stuff happens in a year. You think the year, it goes by fast.
Yeah.
But then when I look at my pictures from January, like that seems like years ago.
Yeah.
So much stuff that we do in a year. And I love to have conversations like this because it's like it just sparks something in me, and I remember it. I remember being there,
right?
Like that the time that we had, and going to these shops and meeting these dudes, and
having no idea what they were saying.
What the hell they're saying? When
having
like,
no idea
let's go eat.
No idea what they're saying. No idea what we're eating. No idea what we're doing the next day.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. Is this horse? Is this not horse? Is it raw? Is it not raw? Like
they smoke a lot, bro. They're just smoking cigarettes and talking, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but
I don't know.
Let's just experience it.
Yeah.
We did that, dude. Yeah. How many friends did you say you went to Japan with them?
Yeah.
Dude?
No, that was good. Time. And then we went 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. That second year was awesome. I was pretty proud of myself because that was when I met Aaron over at Spoon, but I had to get from Shiu, or was it Shua? Where were we staying?
Shibuya.
Shibuya. I had to get from Shibuya to wherever Spoon was at, but it was like planes, trains, and automobiles. Like I had to take like a train and a bus, and Rywire was like, "You can do it. You can do it." And I'm like, "All right, dude. Like, I'll try." But it's like a 2.5 hour thing. But it was like, I did it. I got there. We had the meeting, and then with Aaron and those guys, we did like that I Heart Honda Festival that next year. But it was to have that conversation with the Spoon guys and get them to kind of sign off on it. But man, I was like super nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. Like I never want to be late to anything ever, right? And especially something like that. So I think I was leaving even earlier. But I mean, that's the cool thing about Japan is, I had no idea how to get around, but I got around.
For sure.
It was multiple trains and a bus. I remember that. And then once I got there, it was like a 3 or 4 block walk or something like that. But did it.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
It's then they have like a party at Spoon.
Yeah.
What the fuck? We were at like I remember we were like a rave at Spoon. And
that was awesome. Well, and then the Mr. Spoon guy, remember he was out there on the front of the motorcycle, firing at the motorcycle, riding it up and down the sidewalk.
Time.
Yeah,
bro, he was like a kid and like, check out my toys. Look at this. And then he says, close the garages, and it just smelled like raw fuel, and he's just on the bike, and we're like, what is going on here? Oh my god, yeah, I have those videos, dude, where he had his guys pushing him because he was trying to
right.
start.
We're just standing there watching, like, is this real life right now?
Who has those experiences?
That was
dude?
crazy.
Like,
it was crazy.
That's once in a lifetime shit right there, bro. Yeah. Crazy. And then the EA, he's just revving it, just on it. And you're like, this is the owner of Spoon. Yeah. Just like geeking out because he has a bunch of friends at his house, dude. What a crazy time, bro. Man. I love it, man. I love it, dude. I'm so glad that we share these memories together. And I appreciate everything that you've created.
Yeah, we need to get you on the record now, and you need to tell me when you're gonna go somewhere with us again.
Next year. I think I could squeeze one out.
When's the baby due?
Next year, August.
Okay, yeah. Next year.
You know when? Okay, so when I had Frankie, I didn't know what to expect, right? I took a lot of time off of working here too, meaning coming in, coming out, coming in, and coming out. And I'm glad that I did that. But the person that I was 5 years ago to the person I am now, I have a different level of being able to squeeze so much stuff in a day.
Well, I think you were still doing soccer and stuff too, most likely, right?
Yeah, it was a lot to manage. Yeah. And this was in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Everything's getting fucking fucked up.
Right.
Finally buying my house. So we bought the house in October of 2020. So we're in a new house, new baby. This is a new, like a full new chapter.
Yeah.
The business is changing. Like I'm personally changing and growing into who I am. So I went through so many changes where I was so overwhelmed with everything and still trying to figure out why I feel these certain ways. Why can't I handle so many things?
Yeah.
Why do I get overwhelmed? And it had a lot to do with diet. It had a lot to do with not exercising.
Yeah.
Over caffeinating, smoking every day. And having the wrong perception or I was looking at it the wrong way. Perceiving life.
Yeah.
The way I see it now is I'm not saying that I wasn't happy that my daughter was coming, but it was a lot more being nervous.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's your first time having a baby.
A baby,
which is a completely different deal. It's a lot.
And it all weighed on me.
Right.
A lot. And then with this change of the BMW stuff coming in,
Well, and knowing you have to travel for that as well.
For right. Sure. And I have to do this because this is a new market that I need to jump into. So if I didn't do these, I wouldn't be at the position that I'm at right now, especially with the BMW stuff.
Right.
But now I feel like the new baby that's coming, I know what to expect and we're ready. Christian is so helpful. He's older. Frankie's helpful. She's excited. Yeah. Bro. She's 5, but she knows what's happening. Yeah. And she's
well, that's
ready
why ours are all spaced 4 years apart. Oh, okay. So whenever that new one came, the 4 or 5-year-old could help, and it just made everything easier.
And help even playing with them or watching TV or what have you. I feel like I'm more positioned to manage a lot more things now. So to be able to take off like a weekend or something like that, I definitely think that I could do it.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I didn't want to be there. It was like, another thing of it is I felt very guilty.
Right.
And that was probably and my wife not putting any of that on me, but just me personally.
Right.
Like I feel guilty for doing the podcast. I feel guilty for like doing something that is for myself.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have to work out internally.
Yeah. Well, and ultimately too, it's like if you're left with a newborn or like a 6 or 7 month old for like 3 or 4 days by yourself, it's a lot of work, man.
For sure.
It's tough. It's like, oh yeah, I'm out at a car show. Would you have a booth? No, I'm just hanging out. Sure. It's a hard sell.
It's a lot, and it's not. And Ashley gets it. She's been around since the beginning, so she knows that what I put out there, it comes back, even if it's not that. When I get back from that trip, we made X amount.
Right.
I can pinpoint things that happen from those trips that benefit us.
We were here, and I met the guy from Turn 14 because we had this conversation, and this guy said, "Oh no, I know him. Let me hook you up with him."
Exactly, and meeting people person to person. Then I know my online presentation of myself is it can be taken in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And people that don't know who I am personally or never spent time around me, I feel like I'm a very polarizing person. Either you're gonna like me or you're not gonna like me. But if you meet me, you're gonna like me.
Yeah, it's like it just depends what clips they see of you.
For sure.
Like they could look at you like 60 different ways, but if they spend 10 minutes with you, they're like, oh, okay, this
exactly, bro.
Fantastic.
And we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
And that's what those trips are for. And I love that, bro. And I miss those times to not have to drive. I miss the time sitting in the back seat and like just fucking let's go wherever. Right. I don't give a shit. Let's do it.
Right.
And I miss that. And man, if I could make it happen where I could go to Austin, I would love that. Yeah. But I gotta have a well-oiled machine by that time. But
because you want to be able to go and enjoy yourself as well, right?
And
not feel guilty. And
for sure. But then even Christian, he has a girlfriend, and she is amazing, dude, and like she's super helpful. So if we put it all together like a team shit, but it's like then I can squeeze it in, and I really want to, bro, because like I love everything about it, man. I love what it represents. I love what you've built, and I love being part of it. And just those weekends, bro.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, like we had, it's still, Ryan still comes to most, Big Mike, obviously, Crazy Chris shows up at everything. And it's just kind of like that old crew when we find good places to eat and stay up late and watch dumb stuff on Netflix and, do the meet and come home. Like, it's a blast, man.
Oh, man, I miss it. But 27.
All right.
27, I'll be there, dude. It's not a thing that I don't want to.
Right.
I definitely want.
Well, like we said, like the car stuff doesn't go away.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like you can do it. There's no expiration date on being an automotive enthusiast.
Who knows? We could still have 10 more trips.
Could be a lot more, man. So I'm telling you, dude. Like I'm kind of fired up right now.
Good, bro.
Yeah.
So what can we expect for the 2 shows that are coming up?
So the remainder of the year, like I said, we're looking at Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
And that's September 19th.
Okay.
Saturday, I believe. We'll know more about that probably about a week or so. September 27th in Ohio. That is already locked in. Same venue. We're just running that back like we always do. That will be another good one. And then again, we're talking about maybe doing something in Austin. That would be in the fall. So I'm thinking maybe like October or something like that before it gets too awfully cold. Austin would be a good one. And obviously, I think Austin's only like an hour and a half away from Dallas. And so Probably pull some cars from Oklahoma as well.
Oh, so okay, so Florida and Ohio are back to back.
There, yeah,
Okay, so Austin. Okay, so shit, my Austin might be
yeah,
that might be a little
right.
okay.
It's doable.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
perfect.
let you know, way in advance, and then other than that, I signed the preliminary note for next year for Irwin. I'm sorry, not Irwindale, but Storm Stadium, and
Okay,
so I think it's March 21st.
okay,
So basically, yeah, it's like a day before what we did this year. We're going to kind of stay with that same time frame again. It
got
just
it.
seems to work for us. It's a little bit cooler, and I think everybody appreciates it.
Perfect, bro. Ryan, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. I apologize it took 4 years to get out here. I'm just
No, it's
not.
all
I'm just
good.
not in this area
It's
ever
yeah,
for whatever reason. I don't know why.
we're out here, bro.
No basketball tournaments out here
Yeah.
apparently.
No, we're out here, man. But it was good to have you on
Yeah.
here and then just to focus on the event because
Hmm.
like I was saying that you say Honda community, you're thinking millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
But when you actually start to dissect it, there's not many people that are making this happen. And you're
No.
definitely one of the biggest pieces, especially for, this sort of demographic.
Yeah.
This is like when you hear the Honda Meet, you're talking about classic cars you've seen on magazines. You're
Yeah.
talking about people that build their cars just to debut it
Yeah,
there.
it's the quality of the cars, and what I've always been like most proud about it is it has nothing to do with me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like most people are going to see this and look at that video and go, "Who is this dude?" Like
Yeah.
nobody knows who I am, which is what it's always been. They don't need to know. I just throw the event. We do it for the people, and that's it. We want to keep doing it, forever. It's not, the Ryan Meet. It will never be the Ryan Meet. It needs to be, the Honda Meet, for the enthusiast by the enthusiast.
Yeah. I love it. Before we get out of here,
Mhm.
I forgot we didn't even touch on it. The heavy in the streets EG. We were talking
Yeah,
about it
yeah,
earlier.
yep. So it's down in the garage, and that car. I'm trying to think of what the timeline would be on it. So it would have been my friend Ismar would have had it in probably 96 or 97.
Okay.
Then he sold it to my buddy Randy Nakagawa, who lived in Carlsbad, who Randy's probably like in his late 70s now, maybe early 70s, because he was a kind of an older guy. We met him at the track. Great guy, Hawaiian guy. He had it for about 2 years. And my buddy Kevin in Irvine put like a V20 VTEC in it and a CTR trans, and it was just rad car. And then he got to the point where he had an NSX as well, and so he kind of didn't really need it anymore. And so I said, well, dude, let me buy it from you. And so he let me buy it. I had it for 2 or 3 years. I did a little further work on it. Like I gutted the inside, had Mobworks repaint it, switched the wheels out, but it was really good when I got it. I just kind of fine tuned it. I did a bigger header. I took it to Sean Church, had Sean Church tune it, put it on Hondata. And I think when I had it, it made like 215 to the wheels and
Oh
like
wow.
170 foot-pounds of torque. Like, dude, it was a beast. Like it would smoke third gear. Like it was a handful. And then they did that when I had it. They did that Honda Nissan SER shootout, and it was where all the Honda guys met all the SER guys in Streets of Willow, and the Honda guys literally just kicked the living piss out of these guys, and it was flying but overheated. Like
Yeah.
it was so fast, and it would have probably it would have turned the fastest lap of the day for sure. And we drove it there, and it overheated, and so we actually ended up having to tow it back. We couldn't It wouldn't overheat on the streets, just under load at the track at 100 degrees at Streets of Willow. It would overheat, and so but the first couple laps, the shakedown laps, were super fast, so it would have won that event for sure. The guy who won it was this guy Chad, who actually drove the car from Arizona to Streets of Willow, kicked everybody's ass, and then got in the car and drove to North Carolina.
Oh wow.
Moved. He did it like on a move, but we killed all them. Then I got it back, and then I forget what I was doing. I was leaving the Honda Acura Club. I was buying our S2000. That was like our company car, and so I sold it to fund that. And then Gil bought it. Uh,
Circuit Hero Go.
Circuit Hero Gil bought it. Him and his brother bought it, and then they built it, and they put a K in it.
Yeah. And it was on the cover of Honda Tuning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they had it forever, however long and then you bought it, and I think through the grapevine or something like that, you had said, "Oh, I brought their car," and then I said, "Hey, that was my car." Like I had it, and you did the vertical doors and all that stuff. But yeah, so that car's been in and around, for since 1996 probably. Yeah, I mean that might be like one of the most traceable cars.
Yeah.
In terms of where has it been for 30 years? We can go back and
96.
trace it back to every owner since 1996.
Oh shit!
Like how many of those are there that have changed hands 5 times or whatever the number is, right? Like there can't be that many of those really when you think about it.
So those 2 guys before you, they're still around?
Ismar I haven't seen since like the late 90s.
Okay.
He was kind of out in the Glendale area. He was kind of like a member of our car club. I can't remember what he got after that. He ended up building a spoon something or other, like EK, like a spoon theme EK. And then like Randy was an older dude, and so I'm sure Randy's still around and probably has. I would guarantee you Randy's probably into Porsches or something like that at this point, but I haven't talked to him in probably 15 years or something like that. But yeah, I'm sure all those guys are still doing it.
How crazy, bro.
Yeah. It was a great car, man. Well, it's still a great car. But yeah, and I don't think it's ever been salvaged or anything like that. Like it's clean title. Like it was good. Like I said, that's in terms of all the Hondas I've ever had, that was the best one I ever had.
What a small world, dude.
Yeah. It was a great car.
Well, that another promise that I'll make.
There you go.
It'll be at the Honda Meet.
There you go.
2027.
There you go.
With my one and only the Bisimoto header.
There you go.
The first production.
Yeah. So you're taking it all the way back to the beginning, putting in the motor that it came with in 1992 or 93, whatever year it is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Life is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you.
No problem.
So people that are listening, if they're not following the Honda Meet, where can they follow it at?
We're just the Honda Meet on Instagram, and that's the only social media outlet that I use.
Dope. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening. Once again, this is Downtime with Downstar, and we out. Peace.